Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to News Talk with yours truly, Chris Anu, coming to you as usual from the great state of Texas, precisely Houston, Texas. It's a privilege to be back here with you. I want to believe that you all have been doing great out there, especially those of you who are joining me from where we call the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Ground Zero. Thank you for tuning in and welcome once more to this very special edition of News Talk. I'd like to welcome those of you joining in from Europe, from Asia, from the USA, including Canada and South America. This is News Talk with yours truly, Chris Ano. And I come to you as usual with very much illuminating, exciting, educative, and informative news coming to you, particularly from Ambazonia, where we call the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Thank you for staying put out there. I'm going to be back in a few minutes. Please don't touch your remote. I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once more, thank you for tuning in. Please go ahead as usual. Do me the favor, if you are watching by way of Facebook or YouTube, hit the share button. Let us get the platform, the social media platform, as populated as much as possible. This promises to be very exciting. You can see I look a little bit different. I look like a true African here, isn't it? Not just an African, a chief, Igwe in that matter. All right, so please, we're going to be talking about what is happening in Bamenda. You take a look at that. That was Bamenda yesterday. We're going to be talking about that. And also, I will take you to the north of La République du Cameroon. What you are looking at there, it is my understanding that this was an attack on the governor of that northern state of La République du Cameroon. You know, La République du Cameroon wants everybody to believe everything is fine in the country. Nothing is happening in the north, but at least we know the last thing we saw in the north of Cameroon was a discovery of a bulk of arms, ammunition. In La République du Cameroon, you remember, came out and said everything is okay. That was orchestrated by an international smuggling ring, where I guess they can't say after their governor is under attack that this is an international orchestrated attack on the governor. So we're going to be talking about that. And what you find here, ladies and gentlemen, what you find there, these are what we call blacklegs and traitors. Now and then you hear of abductions and kidnappings on Ground Zero in Ambazonia. And we are being told all the time that the kidnappings and the abductions and ransom takings are done by Ambazonia restoration fighters. But I beg to let you know that the guys you find on your screen, they are not Ambazonian restoration fighters. They are ransom takers and abductors. They go about abducting civilians, harassing them, taking away, stealing millions from them. And La République du Cameroon, with their propaganda machinery, sends out a message that Ambazonia restoration fighters are abducting and kidnapping and taking ransoms. But I bring you images here to tell you The guys you see are the true abductors and ransom takers. We're going to hear from them. We're going to hear from them. But it is important to know that the enemy is masqueraded within our true fighters and trying to mess the work, the good work that they are doing. We will be coming to that. We will be coming to that. And of course, my main subject of the day is about the banning of 11th February. The banning of 11th February in Ambazonia. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the subjects we're going to be discussing today. So do me the favor again, hit that share button. Let's get as many people as possible populating this platform today. It is going to be very, very exciting. I'm going to be right back, and when I come back, we will delve right into these stories. Please, please stay put.
Thrive America, the flagship model, offers personalized coaching and assistance to newly arrived individuals into the country through a concierge service and one-stop resource on your phone. The app supports essential areas of integration, such as job search strategies, benefits applications, financial literacy, credit repair, legal guidance, and more. The platform aims to become the go-to resource as you navigate the complexities of settling into a new country. Thrive America, the flagship model, offers personalized coaching and assistance to newly arrived individuals into the country through a concierge service and one-stop resource on your phone. The app supports essential areas of integration, such as job search strategies, benefits applications, financial literacy, credit repair, legal guidance, and more. The platform aims to become the go-to resource as you navigate the complexities of settling into a new country. Thrive America, the flagship model, offers personalized coaching and assistance to newly arrived individuals into the country through a concierge service and one-stop resource on your phone. The app supports essential areas of integration, such as job search strategies, benefits applications, financial literacy, credit repair, legal guidance, and more. The platform aims to become the go-to resource as you navigate the complexities of settling into a new country. Thrive America, the flagship model, offers personalized coaching and assistance to newly arrived individuals into the country through a concierge service and one-stop resource on your phone. The app supports essential areas of integration, such as job search strategies, benefits applications, financial literacy, credit repair, legal guidance, and more. The platform aims to become the go-to resource as you navigate the complexities of settling into a new country.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying put out there. Today is February the 10th. February the 10th, as you all know, we sent out an announcement 2 weeks ago, formally banning the celebration. We're not actually banning, we've banned it in the past at the beginning of this struggle for Ambazonia's independence. We ban it because we cannot be in the habit of celebrating days that led to our slavery. We have banned the celebration of the 11th of February. We've also banned the celebration of 20th May. We've also banned the organization of any elections, the conduct of any elections in Ambazonia by La République du Cameroon. And so today we want to believe, so far I have not found out what is going on ground zero, other than Victoria, where I saw some movements on the ground. But maybe in the course of this program, we will open the phone lines to know what is happening in Boya, in Kumba, in Bamenda, Kambe, Mamfe, Tico, Libialem, everywhere, Boyo, and so on and so forth. Indian, We're going to find out how the lockdown is going on there. But ladies and gentlemen, again, we ban this event because as you listen in my monologue that will follow, eventually 11 February was the day that was the day that laid the foundation. It was the day that laid the foundation for the eventual annexation and occupation of our territory. If we are at war today, it all started on the 11th of February. I remember when Albert Mukong was alive, he used to call it a day of mourning. A day of mourning. Dr. E.M.A. Indele, very foresighted, capable to see what was ahead, called that day a red letter day. A red letter day. Whatever the red letter meant, I don't get it, but he called it a red letter day. Anything associated with red except for the blood of Jesus isn't good, right? So, that was the day that laid the foundation stone for our enslavement by La République du Cameroon. And so we have decreed that never again, never again, never again shall Ambazonia, Southern Cameroonians be celebrating so-called 11th February or 20th May. I don't know whether the problem is our history wasn't taught in school in the way that it is. Because many Ambazonians, especially those of this age, maybe those of this age because of the war, are beginning to understand our proper history. But some of us growing up, unless we use our own initiative and we were active in the activism that we fought against La République du Cameroon over the years, many people did not know our true history, the true history of Ambazonia. That number one, Ambazonia, the Southern Cameroons, was the first nation in Africa to practice democracy. Democracy. It was the first country in Africa to have an elected leadership. Many people do not know that. They come to think about it at a time when every other African country was then gaining its independence. That same independence was denied us, the people who started it all in the first place. That is our story, but we're going to get there. I want to take you to Bamenda, ladies and gentlemen, where the brave restoration forces laid hands on these hoodlums. They laid hand on these hoodlums. Now, I'd like you to look at the faces of those guys. These are kidnappers, these are terrorists, these are blacklegs, and these are traitors. They are the reason why some of our restoration forces have been blackmailed, and they are being called kidnappers and ransom takers. Now, you will recall that time and again you have heard that the restoration forces, particularly in Bamenda, in Kwen, and so on, are abducting people, taking money, taking ransoms in the millions. Now, these guys you see with the motorcycles you see along with them, these motorcycles were seized, confiscated, or stolen from civilians by these rooks, these kidnappers. And they use it to go around dressed to look like Ambazonia restoration fighters to kidnap and take millions in ransoms from civilians. And so unfortunately for this one, and on this day, last week, they were caught. And I would like you to hear their story from their lips. I would like you to hear their story from their lips. You listen to them as they are being interviewed.
If people in this way, we don't cash and for tuba. There are people then way, then you work a key civilian them, harass civilian them in the name of Amber, take their property by force. The one way na dem do and they say na Amba do am. The one way na military do and they say na Amba do am. So na picking them for General Spirito, Otuba. Don't catch the one then so for night, breaking this morning. Today 19th of October. The one a new ZKT way, the boy them key person take am for you. Now another one this when a bazaar. All people that new bike they don't sweat, work for their bike. This bad picking the job call one day go take them. Key them. They need to only take the bike for the pole and they will key them and take them for them. So I want me to talk with them up. You, what's be your name? You can talk fine. Your name na Clifford. You come over sir. Come over small banky. And small bank in all the village for inside Tuba. Now way it's time for thief. What's on a thief the bike them? You can talk fine. Which banky? Small banky. Oh, what's be your name? You come over which village? What's on a take the bike them? You take a bam Melissa. Now your friend is now. Oh, na to the work at thief. When inside Ambazonia now. You they talk say if you don't be a soldier before you run na true. You never be soldier. You been only thief man. You say you been only thief man. You don't thief for how many years today? You don't thief for 1 year 6 months. And you only operate, take people them inside town, dodge with them now. You talk say you don't kill how many people them so. You say you don't take 5 lives and you say na 4 lives. You don't take 4 for them. The talk we are all up now, me the worry here what you do. And where you take and so the tossing na Amber kill and all on gunmen they were on non-gunmen. And they don't kill her no. But why na the two na the work I do am. So na then this so person way he get.
All right, ladies.
As if people then this way.
Gentlemen,
We don't catch them with Tuba.
Again, those boys, they were picked up in Bamenda. They were picked up in Bamenda by the genuine restoration fighters. They were picked up by the genuine restoration fighters and interrogated, and they confessed to having abducted and killed so many civilians and extorted from them. We want the civilians, especially in the northern zone and of course the southern zone where this is rampant, to know. Yes, we have some rook restoration fighters, but you also have bad ones, bad opportunists, like these guys sitting in front of you. We've been hearing also their stories in the BLM. In fact, one of them was killed in the BLM sent by the mayor of Menji and the colonial divisional officer in Menji to go in the bush, to go get to the bushes, track down Ambazonia fighters. Unfortunately, they went. All of them couldn't come back. One of them was baptized to visit Patrick Ekema. He never returned. So again, I say kudos to the restoration forces. No black leg, no traitor should be spared. This is war. If they have the guts to go out, abduct people and take millions from their hands and kill others, they should not be spared. They are more dangerous than the forces of La République du Cameroon carrying guns out there. No black leg should be spared, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are a civilian and you come across any of them, whatever you can do to stamp them out of this process, do your best and get rid of them. No mercy on anybody who is caught working as a black leg or traitor, like these faces that you see on your screen. All right, let me take you to Bamenda and find out what is going on in Bamenda before I get you to my monologue for the day, ladies and gentlemen. I am being joined from ground zero with a comrade who is on the ground following up events for us. Hello, sir.
Hello, Comrade Chris.
Good to hear your voice once more, sir. How are you doing today?
The pleasure is mine. I'm doing very okay. Thank you. What about you?
I am doing excellent. Tell me what is happening on the ground. We declared lockdown for today and tomorrow in view of this colonial celebration called 11th of February. How is lockdown and ghost town going on out there, sir?
First of all, before I talk about what is happening, I really want to congratulate the Amazonian leaders, especially in the diaspora this time around, for less confusion and contradictions concerning the lockdown dates. It's a sign of unity and progress, and I really hope that we continue in this line, and this will help reduce the confusion that we have. I think apart from some rumor of another group extending lockdown to the 12th, which is a Wednesday, and I don't know what for, because 11 February will be gone on Tuesday, and I don't know why an extra date should be added, but everybody has agreed that lockdown was supposed to take place today on our Ghost Town Day, and tomorrow, which is the day, the particular day for the 11th of February, and then our people can continue with their activities on Wednesday. So I take this chance to congratulate every leader and every stakeholder who joined their voice to support the voice of the Ground Zero forces. I hope this should continue, and it's for me, it's positive that we are beginning to realize the necessity and the importance of working as one, collaborating, and even having unity in diversity. And then to come back to your question, which is how the situation is, I think we don't have much to say. People could already see the images online about themselves. It was well ghosted, especially in the northern zone as usual.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that this evening, around 5:30 p.m. Amber time, the forces of Unity Warriors, known as Omega 201 from Kumbu North, they already stormed the Gendarmerie Brigade this evening and dismantled their plans. They had just finished practicing on how they were going to perform tomorrow at the stadium. Okay. And the Warriors just stormed the brigade this evening, like I said, around 5:20 p.m. And several gendarmes have been neutralized. I don't know the number yet.
They are sent to visit Patrick Ekema.
Yeah, they have already been sent to visit Patrick Ekema.
They should be having a party over there now. And Ekema is getting updates.
Yeah, he's getting updates, of course, and we are even in doubt what they are thinking, if they will probably be looking for a reprisal or they are still planning to go, because usually when people don't go out to march, it's the military that will march on behalf of the youth.
Right.
So with this kind of sad news on their side, I think it's our civilians are still advised to stay at home, because with the anger in them and this defeat, they will probably want to pour out on innocent civilians tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I advise our parents also to make sure that their children are safe at home, and it's just one day, and then life will continue after that.
Now, this time they didn't do, I have seen some occasions where they go out on the eve of events like this, do calais, as I call it in French, lock people up, get them out on the 11th or on the occasion to go out and participate in march past. Nothing like, you've not heard anything like that this time?
It happened in other villages, but not in, I haven't heard anything so far in Bui and even Gogotunjan or Mizam so far.
Okay.
But what you are saying, what they usually do, and the day is still very young, they could do it this night, because sometimes when they do it a few days before, those who have the means will probably go and pay bills or what we call ransoms and get some out. I think probably if they have to do such a thing, they might even do it tonight so that they can carry the action tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, you know that La Republic has been aware of the various challenges of organizing such events in Amazonia. It has been banned, and they know it's a tradition that it will not take place. So we are aware that what they usually do is that, when we were growing and we were celebrating this day ignorantly, we used to have what we call the launching. We launch it first before the 11th February day proper.
That is very true. I remember it used to be like a whole week of festivities. The schools will practice and then go to the ceremonial ground. There will be dancing competition, and then on the day itself, all of the finalists will perform.
Exactly. So what is happening now is that they are not using they are no longer doing competition. They only call it a launching now, since there are no groups to perform for or to compete among themselves.
Yeah.
So what they do now is that they surprise schools and then take children on announced date out, and then they do the launching and then make their videos
and air the videos.
And then keep them to present on the 11th of February so that CRTV can show. But the way La Republic was smart this year is that they didn't only do the launching, they have instituted another day, I think it's either the 4th or the 5th of February, which is called the Bilingualism Day.
Okay.
And they had played a fast one on us, and we must admit, and we need to start working on this day.
Yes,
because what I have actually
you are
seen,
very correct. I heard about that thing, and I actually talked about it here, and somehow it was too close, and we couldn't do anything to enforce some kind of ban on it.
I think we should be putting it on our calendar, knowing that around that period, they are having a bilingualism day. I'm saying this because even in my village, as I speak, there was this took place in a town called Tatum. I've seen the images, the footages, where children were playing with the military, and they took pictures, and then they kept, and they will probably be using them not as bilingualism day now. They will be using them
as
for
11th
February.
Yeah.
Now, the case of Minchum, which you saw, even they were having it on their banners, Minchum, they already celebrated it on the 4th, and they wrote it on their banner under the auspices of the senior divisional officer, the youths of blah, 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 are happy to celebrate the 59th Youth Day. And they already celebrated, and they were not ashamed to write on their banner.
Interesting.
Maybe when they will be editing it, they will put the 11th on it.
Yeah.
In Bamenda, during the launching, we already saw the governor. Okay, let me be nice to them. The governor of the northwest region, as they call it, he already went out also to Komisha Avenue, and he did the launching. So all with him going for the launching is already signed, because usually these high personalities, they don't go even for competition days.
Right,
they only come on the D-Day.
Right.
So
I think we have to be more. We have to be more sensitive and start targeting all those launchings and bilingualism days.
Yes.
In the years ahead. But tell me.
And the last one before we go, I'm just giving you pictures that you will see online already, so we are aware tomorrow.
Yes.
Is the last one in Santa as well, which has already taken place, and footages have already been captured for that. Yeah. Next question, please.
Now, there was a fire in Bamenda today. I was told that the offices of the mayor of Bamenda in Molang, as you can find on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, the offices of the mayor of Bamenda in Molang was put on fire early in the morning. What have you heard about it? Any idea?
I don't think it was. I thought it was yesterday, actually.
Oh, it was yesterday. Well, whatever the case, PW Bamenda match, which I was still going to go to, was yesterday. I'm not sure, but the fire may have been yesterday too, but I saw the images here.
I think I
Yes, I
shared it
cancel
last
that
night,
video
except
on
that
fire.
I
It
was
Okay.
early this morning.
I
Okay.
cancel
Yeah,
that with the bond.
I shared these same images last night also, yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Except that I'm getting a bit old now.
Yes,
So,
I cancel
my
that
birthday is on
video
the
on fire.
1st
It
of
bond
Oh,
too.
March.
interesting.
So,
I cancel that with the
all
bond.
Okay.
right. But what you see that is happening is there is something that is happening,
Yes, I
which I will
cancel
link
that
probably.
video on
Maybe you
fire.
are going
It
to
bond
come
too.
to us about the
I
match
cancel that with
which
the bond.
PWD played yesterday.
Yeah, I want us to talk about that a little bit. What have you learned about it?
Yeah, so about the fire, I
Yes,
will
I
just
cancel
combine
that
these since we
video on
don't have
fire.
time.
It
I'm
bond
really
too.
looking forward
I
to your
cancel that
monologue.
with the bond.
I really want to summarize to let you understand something.
Yeah.
Amazonian restoration
Yes, I
forces
cancel
over
that
the time
video
have
on
become
fire.
more
It bond too.
professional
I
in
cancel
the
that with
sense
the
that
bond.
they keep protecting our people more than ever.
Uh-huh.
We meet here, and that's why
Yes, I
sometimes you
cancel
don't
that
see them
video
go
on fire.
out
It
on
bond too.
unnecessary
I cancel
attacks
that with the bond.
because of collateral damages that they are avoiding.
Right.
But when you see them come out on an event like
Yes, I
yesterday
cancel
and
that
in Mio's
video on fire. It bond too.
office, it's because of too much provocation. Sometimes we have even allowed that our people have suffered much and we let them play football inter-quarter competitions and you never see any interference or any gunshots.
Right.
But when you bring a team like, they call it FAO the Azul, that's like, I think it's a team from Central Region Yaoundé. It's playing in the Elite One Championship, what we used to call in our own days division, first division. And this team is in the 6th position of that Elite Championship, while PWD is, I think, at the 12th position. So they were having this match in Bamenda, in mile 6, and knowing fully well that the organization of these matches were a provocation because matches were, for the previous years, were being taken out of the northern zone and being played somewhere in Fovu in western region.
Yeah.
But because they decided to bring them back, it's not even long they took this decision, which was a provocation. And the aim is only to take images to show that life is normal in
Life is
Bamenda.
normal in Bamenda, right?
You know, and that teams are coming from La Republic and playing freely and going, meaning that there is no war. And that's why I really appreciate our forces, that they really take time to protect our civilians. But our civilians need to protect themselves too. And they should avoid going. If you look at the population, imagine that they were not professional yesterday. You don't know what the casualties would have been heavy.
Right.
Because how
Right.
many people came from Yaoundé? You know?
Right.
Then it would have been our own people. And then we will be saying nasty things about our restoration forces. We are at war. You don't organize such events during war. Coupled with
Absolutely.
the fact that we are defending ourselves and then they are coming to provoke us. So the incident that really happened should be an eye-opener. And our civilians should really respect our forces. It's true that we hear stories about kidnappings and blah, blah, blah in Bamenda. It has proven that it is not even our forces because the reports of kidnappings in Douala and Yaoundé recently are alarming, even worse than what we get in war zone.
Yeah.
So therefore, who is kidnapping?
Exactly. Exactly.
So these are things that we really need to be careful as a people, that activities. And I can tell you, our forces have been allowing a lot of things taking place, especially when it concerns our people. But once there is someone from La Republic coming, that is always when you see reaction.
That is very true.
And this is a fact to show that elections will also soon be coming and campaigns, people will be coming for campaigns. And these are the exact things they are going to experience.
Right. Right. Now,
so our forces, like I keep repeating, have been very professional. They are considering the plight of our people, but the people too have to also help them to do a good job
ladies
by
and,
not getting mixed
yes,
with these people.
Hold on there, ladies and gentlemen. The images you are looking there on your screen, those are actually the players hiding somewhere, looking so terrified. So you can look at them. They look so terrified from what happened. Those are the players. I don't know whether that was those are PWD players or the guys from Yaoundé who were the visitors. But comrade, listen, we have banned PWD Bamenda from holding any matches organized by La République du Cameroun in Ambazonia, anywhere in Ambazonia, and they kept on doing so. They kept on doing so. I hope they have learned a lesson and they won't try again, because the boys who carried out this action yesterday, we will make sure they maintain their resilience and monitor every football calendar of PWD Bamenda. Make sure that they are not descending in Bamenda. Any other team, I don't care where it is coming from, is descending onto Bamenda and playing these matches, because all what they want the world to know is that life is normal in Bamenda when they come to play these matches.
I totally agree with you, and like I said, we are in a war. Such activity, usually that's when sometimes I say we are really nice, and we are nice simply because we are still at self-defense. And that's why we put our civilians as our priority. And I am still pleading with them. PWD might have been lucky yesterday, but all these series of provocations will lead our warriors to pour their anger on them, which is not their target, which is not the target. So we can avoid all these incidents by respecting the laws of Ambazonia. This is all I can say.
Now, I was told that match was played in a location called Young Sports Complex or something like that. I am looking for the complex. I do not see in the complex in this photograph. Is that the way a lot of people has taught them?
You use the word complex, and some people use the word arena.
Yeah, I heard the word arena. I'm looking for the arena. I can't find it.
I haven't found it myself. So yeah, it's. Yeah, those are the big names they give for.
Yes, for hurt they build around
because even the president of the FECAFOOD himself had promised building a stadium. I don't know for how long he's been ruling, and nothing has happened.
I actually saw them breaking ground for a new stadium in Bamenda, and Ito was actually there promising it will come to pass. I don't know what has happened.
Have you never forgotten that La Republique is only good at promises? For what they have been promising us for the past 60 how many years? What have you seen done? Have you seen routes? The matters and route that we have even allowed sometimes for the sake of our people that it should be constructed, they are still not able to do that. So what do you expect from them? It's a country that is only, they call it land of promise now, Comrade Chris.
I know. All right, listen, comrade, I appreciate you joining me. You remain safe out there.
No, thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will be out in a second, and when I am back, I will take you to the main subject of the day. Why we ban the so-called 11 February. Why we ban the so-called 11 February. It is very scintillating and illuminating. There is information you probably have never heard about, so please stay put. I'll be right back.
Thrive America, the flagship model, offers personalized coaching and assistance to newly arrived individuals into the country through a concierge service and one-stop resource on your phone. The app supports essential areas of integration, such as job search strategies, benefits applications, financial literacy, credit repair, legal guidance, and more. The platform aims to become the go-to resource as you navigate the complexities of settling into a new country. Thrive America, the
right, thank you for remaining tuned in, ladies and gentlemen. At this moment, I take you to my monologue for today that has to do with the banning of the so-called 11 February in the southern Cameroons and Bazonia. Many of you out there probably have never understood why we detest it. The southern Cameroons questions remains one of Africa's most compelling post-colonial conflicts, rooted in historical injustices, manipulation, and a betrayal of the principles of self-determination. The February 1961 plebiscite, often described as the genesis of southern Cameroon's present predicament, was less an exercise of free will and more a calculated move by colonial powers and political actors who sought to erase the map and identity of a people. In this analysis, we will examine the circumstances leading to the plebiscite, the warnings of Dr. E.M.L. Ndele, the problematic nature of the voting options in the referendum, and the subsequent annexation of the southern Cameroons by la République du Cameroun. I will further make a contrast of this situation with a legal framework that governed the unification of Tanganyika and Zanzibar to form the United Republic of Tanzania, to highlight the lack of any legal treaty binding La République du Cameroun and Southern Cameroons. And finally, I link these events to the modern-day resistance of Ambazonians, who categorically reject February 11 as a day of celebration. Dr. Ndele, one of the leading figures in the Southern Cameroon struggle, warned before the plebiscite that voting for a union with La République du Cameroun was tantamount to stepping into an unknown and a potentially dangerous future. He argued that while a union with Nigeria had its challenges, at least, he said, Southern Cameroonians knew what to expect given their existing administrative and economic ties with Nigeria. In contrast, joining La République was akin to boarding a plane and landing in an unknown destination, he said. This was a warning that history has since vindicated. Ndele's argument was based on several crucial observations. Number one, the lack of cultural and political compatibility. The Southern Cameroons with British colonial background had developed institutions, laws, and political culture separate, distinct from La République du Cameroon's own, led by their French masters. Then the plebiscite itself was rigged. The process seems skewed in favor of union with La République du Cameroun. The most glaring manipulation was the exclusion of a third option, complete independence. The Southern Cameroons was already self-governing, with a functioning legislative assembly and an evolving democracy. Yet the people were forced to choose between two external powers rather than being allowed to continue their independent path. And number three, the misinterpretation of the plebiscite vote. Many believe that the plebiscite was a direct decision to join either Nigeria or La République. That was not the case. In reality, it was supposed to be a mere sampling of public opinion, after which further negotiations would determine the final outcome. The fact that the United Kingdom and the UN failed to ensure proper decolonization left Southern Cameroons in a precarious position. Now, let's examine a similar union process that took place between Tanganyika and Zanzibar to to form the United Republic of Tanzania. Let's see how it was handled. A legally binding treaty is a crucial component of any legitimate political unification. To illustrate what was missing in the Southern Cameroon's La République case, one can examine the Articles of Union between Tanganyika and Zanzibar, which established the United Republic of Tanzania in 1964. These are some of the key articles from that union between Tanganyika and Zanzibar. Article number 2, the preservation of autonomy. This article outlined that Zanzibar would retain its government with control over key domestic matters like education, health care, and internal security. In the contrary, the Southern Cameroons lost all autonomy when La République du Cameroun imposed a centralized system from Yaoundé. Article number 4, the recognition of two systems of government. Tanganyika and Zanzibar agreed that although they were uniting, Zanzibar would maintain a semi-autonomous government, while Tanganyika would manage broader national affairs. No such agreement existed in the Southern Cameroon's case, where the so-called federation was merely a pretext for eventual assimilation. Article 6, the legal framework for the Union. That treaty explicitly outlined legal mechanisms to guide the unification process. It detailed how laws would be harmonized and how governance would function under the new structure. In the case of the Southern Cameroons, La République du Cameroun, no legal treaty exists between them and La République, meaning that their supposed union was never legally constituted. Article 8, international recognition of the union between Tanganyika and Zanzibar. The union treaty between the two was ratified and recognized by international bodies, including the United Nations. The Southern Cameroon's union with La République du Cameroun was never formally recognized through a signed treaty deposited at the United Nations, further proving that the Southern Cameroons was essentially captured or annexed by La République du Cameroun, and it was illegal. Despite the plebiscite's ambiguity, on October 1, 1961, the UK and the United Nations abandoned the Southern Cameroons, effectively delivering it into the hands of La République du Cameroun without any legal treaty. Unlike Tanganyika and Zanzibar, which had a structured and agreed upon unification process, the Southern Cameroons had no legal safeguards. Within days, La République du Cameroun moved in its military, the gendarmes and the administrators, the DOs, dismantling the democratic structures of the Southern Cameroons and imposing a centralized rule from Yaoundé. Over time, all institutions, the judiciary, education, economic frameworks, and governance were systematically dismantled or assimilated into La République du Cameroun system. As a result, this is what became the long-term impact of the annexation, what I call the bastardization of the Southern Cameroons. Number 1, the suppression of political identity. The Southern Cameroons' distinct identity was gradually erased. The promised federation was revoked, and by 1972, Amadou Ahidjo unilaterally declared a unitary state. Economic marginalization. The once thriving economy of the Southern Cameroons was exploited to benefit La République. Key institutions such as the Marketing Board were dissolved, and revenue from the Southern Cameroon's resources was centralized in Yaoundé. How about cultural assimilation and oppression? The imposition of the French language and legal system alienated Anglophone Cameroonians, creating systemic discrimination that fueled resentment. These are some, ladies and gentlemen, of the reasons why February 11 is a day of mourning in the southern Cameroons. Number one, the symbol of deception. The plebiscite is seen as a fraudulent exercise that paved the way for annexation rather than self-determination. Number two, February 11 marked the moment when southern Cameroonians were forced into an unwanted union. And number three, the ongoing armed conflict, which escalated in 2017 following the brutal crackdown on peaceful protests, is rooted in these historical grievances. To emphasize their rejection of February 11, Ambazonian leaders and activists have enforced ghost towns. Total shutdown will start today and tomorrow. This is a form of civil disobedience, signaling to the Republic of Cameroon and the international community that they do not recognize the legitimacy of Youth Day celebration, so-called. The slogan, "Never Again," encapsulates the refusal to accept another round of deception and oppression. The Southern Cameroon's struggle is a textbook case of post-colonial betrayal, forced assimilation, and the denial of self-determination. The February 11, 1961 plebiscite was a rigged exercise that ignored the true will of the people, leading to decades of systemic oppression under La République du Cameroon. By contrasting this situation with a legally binding treaty of union between Tanganyika and Zanzibar, it becomes clear that the Southern Cameroons was annexed, not united with La République du Cameroon. The continued resistance, including the rejection of 11 February, is proof of the enduring spirit of Ambazonians who seek to right a historical wrong. Without a legally binding document, no treaty, no union, the Southern Cameroons remains an occupied territory. And that is the reason we fight and fight. We must fight until justice is done and it is ours. And that was my monologue, ladies and gentlemen. I am being joined now. Let me see, my guests are all seated. I think I see Professor Anyangwe had just signed in. Dennis had signed in. I see Dr. G is there. Dennis and Prof. Anyangwe, if you're hearing me, turn on your cameras, please. Let me go to Dr. Gabila. It's a pleasure to have you joining the Set News Talk for the first time, so good to see you.
Thanks so much, Secretary Chris. Good evening to the viewers who are watching from Ground Zero. Good afternoon to you in the US. It's an honor to be on your platform and to be able to engage with you on this all important subject. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being generous to join the show. Tell me, I guess you listened to my monologue, if anything that you may want to add or correct there.
No, Secretary Chris, I was listening to your monologue and it got me thinking on a whole range of issues. And I think that you were spot on the analysis that you made about the difference between our experience in La République Cameroon and what obtains between Tanzania and Tanganyika. And it's a classical case of, like you did call it, post-colonial deception. So I think that on the facts and the merits of the arguments you put on the table, you are absolutely spot on. I, however, have however, got me thinking on a number of fronts, and I thought that I would throw that back at you in order to
Hey,
challenge
go on, go
our
on, go on,
thinking
go on with
beyond
them. Let's hear what they are.
to challenge our thinking beyond the current narrative, because it got me asking a couple of questions. Now, it's clearly established, in fact, historically, there's no legally binding treaty between us of the kind that existed between Tanzania and Tanganyika and Zanzibar. And you then prefaced or concluded your remark by saying that we need to then push the resistance until justice is done. Now, the one gap that I think often gets missing in that narrative that sort of complicates our own specific instance is the agency of Southern Cameroonian politicians in what played out. And I think that sometimes in our narratives, we do not explore that angle enough to realize that as much as in the real world of politics, you had manipulations from the British and the French government and as colonial entities that were trying to resolve the colonization question, we had our own brothers and sisters that were part of that process that facilitated a deception. And the whole play out between KNDP and John Buffon-Chan, EM Endele, and all the Southern Cameroonian politicians that were working systematically with Ahijo at that season to roll out the deception. And for me, that angle is the element that has two key components. It complicates the appreciation of our own reality from two angles. Number one, it is the whole notion of the fact that there seems to have been a very phony political process that legitimized, in the eyes of some, the illegitimate experience that we now talk of today, which is very difficult to make as a distinction, because you would see that there were people who built whole political careers out of what we today are now calling our experience in the Republic of Annexation and of deception. But the Munas and the Fonchas and the Endeles of the world, the Endele being the visionary and having taken a completely different stance, even though in hindsight his option did not win, but he prone for independence by joining the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we cannot tell because we never explored that option what it could have been. Maybe if we ended up with the Endele option, we would have had regret as part of Nigeria. But that is our history and that is our reality. The point I'm making is that we need to place square agency and a certain segment of responsibility on the role of Southern Cameroonian politicians in the management of that process, and those who work hand in hand with Aidjo to get us up to this point, which, from my perspective, highlights a critical element about the fact that that tendency which was observed in the 1960s in the management of the unification, in the whole notion of the fact that we as a people were unable to articulate one overriding vision that was in our best interest, and that we were in certain instances naive to believe the predispositions of Aidjo and his government, has been a tendency that has lasted up until today, in 2025, when you and I are talking. And it is a reality which I think sometimes we do not fully appreciate. The whole notion of the fact that we are an extremely diverse in our views, diverse in our approaches to reality, diverse in our appreciation of certain factors that concerns our joint destiny, which diversity I think we have not managed very well. And I'm not talking about our engagement with the Republic of Cameroon. I'm talking about our engagements with each other as Southern Cameroonians. And that has come with grave, huge consequences. And my hope is that moving forward, beyond 2025, which brings me back to some aspect of the things that you're talking about, we should be able to realize that we have to find a way of finding each other in the enormously diverse disposition that we represent as a people. There are some people that have taken a clear-cut, hardline stance about what they want and how they want it. There are some other people who, to a very significant extent, I mean, some of the images that you projected up to this point, the deal of the council's house being burnt, PWD marches being organized, and all the different things that the caller from Ground Zero classified as provocations coming from the enemy. We cannot deny the fact, Comrade Chris, that these are actions and activities promoted, perpetrated by bona fide Southern Cameroonians that are part of the system. Now, sometimes we may ignore that and we may choose to
Well, let me cut
wish.
you short a little bit there. I get you, comrade, and I know that you kind of work closely with Capo Daniel, and if you make that statement that those things are perpetrated by those within the Southern Cameroon's fault, yes to some, no to others, but whatever the case, be it the Bamanda's City Council or be it the PWD match, these are institutions that we have said they represent the colonial, the annexationists, and so it is none of our business what happens to them, especially the game that PWD Bamenda plays with these foreign teams from La Republic du Cameroon. I don't see any problem with that. But back to the point, you have worked
Right.
together, you still work together with Capo Daniel. To your point, I think he led many of those things, the things that Cho Ayaba was doing. Capo was the leader of the ADF, right?
No, yeah, he worked with the AGOFC extensively. He was deputy chief of defense.
Yeah.
And you
When
see,
most of
with
the
the play
killings and the abductions and ransom takings were being carried out.
So let me come to that point. So with the play out of what transpired with PW, and I don't want us to miss out on that point. There are two parties which, as leaders of the Southern Cameroons, we need to fully appreciate. Now, there are the restoration forces that go on to disrupt that game in order to make a statement that says that these activities have been banned, and that are holding a specific perspective. But they are the owners and managers of PWD. There is the crowd that goes to watch the game. They are the local organizers that manage the city. And the point I'm putting to you, Secretary Chris, is that as leaders of Southern Cameroons, we need to then come to terms with the fact that we are overseeing a broad church that is made up of the owners of PWT, that is made up of the city managers of Bamenda, that is made up of the population that, notwithstanding everything that those occasions represent, go out to watch that match. That speaks of the diversity that we represent, including the restoration forces. Now, my burden, my personal sense of burden for all of us as a people is to be able to, how do we find common ground among all this diverse set of people who I think in the very
I
essence of
think
their being for the
I,
well-being and the best interest of our people. So we need
Comrade,
to
I
acknowledge
think
that diversity.
in times of war, we are not, our only common ground is the pursuit of that war to the end. And when we ban stuff from happening, it means that that is also part of the process. The overwhelming population on the ground would not want PWD to be playing matches in Bamenda. But when they do, you can expect the population to come out as they did. It is entertainment. They have no choice. If you are out there playing music, what would you expect? People will gather, right? people will
That's
gather.
one way
But
of
we
looking
are
at it.
saying we don't want it in times of war.
Now, that's the point I'm making, Secretary Chris, because then you can see it as entertainment, but you are taking the sense of agency and responsibility away from that crowd. The crowd turned out in their numbers. To be entertained, you can interpret their presence there from whatever perspective you choose to. Bottom line is that you hold a certain view about that specific occasion and how it should be managed, but the presence and the size of that crowd suggest that there's a different perspective. Now, I'm not drawing any conclusions out of that. The only point I'm making is that you and I, as responsible leaders in our community, need to come to terms with that diversity. We need to acknowledge its existence, acknowledge the diversity of perspectives on a whole range of our people, and then perhaps that would be a good stepping stone to begin to find common grounds around the management of that diversity. And I must add there, Secretary Chris, if you permit me, that I think that in the pursuit of the restoration quest for the last 9 years, some of our people, driven by their passion for how hurt they are about what has happened to us, has failed to appreciate that, number one, that diversity exists. Number two, we have the responsibility to carry the people along. Because you're not dealing with inanimate matters, right? You're not dealing with a set of sheep or goats or people that are going to not respond to the actions that you undertake. You're dealing with human beings that have opinions. And you then have the responsibility to persuade. Persuade through the means of force, persuade through the calling of lockdown, persuade through the force of argument, persuade through programs of this nature that examines the historicity of
So,
our case
no,
and
to
the
what
different.
point? To
But
what point?
we do have a responsibility to carry the diversity along with us. And
So, to
sometimes
what
I feel
point
that
are you emphasizing on this diversity? What are you trying to say?
the point I'm trying to make, Secretary Chris, is that in the adoption of specific policy positions, we need to factor in the fact that, number one, there are some people who are slow learners. There are some people who do not have the kind and amount of information that you have. There are some people who do not agree with you,
Yeah.
but they are a part of your community and they're part of your people. So you need to factor in that dimension of diversity to carry them along with you in every policy
But
position.
you know, it is impossible. It is impossible to carry everybody along. Let's forget about the francophone population within us in Bamenda or in Boya or Kumba. Even within us, Ambazonians or Southern Cameroonians or Anglophones, as they call it, we do not all agree for independence, isn't it? But the overwhelming majority are agreed independence is the ultimate end. So when you're talking about accommodating others, yeah, go.
It's absolutely important that you do note that diversity does exist and the fact that we do not completely all agree. But it doesn't mean we should stop trying, and it doesn't mean that we should not acknowledge its existence. Now, I am of the view that, and my perspective is that we have not tried enough. You know, there is something about inherent to Anglo-Saxon culture, which is the force of argument and the ability to be able to disagree and still find common ground. We can disagree without becoming disagreeable.
What common ground, in your opinion, would you expect us, this diversity you are talking about, to have?
Continuous engagement.
To what end?
Continuous persuasion. Continuous engagement and continuous persuasion to the end of being able to move the needle progressively. Because if any of us had the magic wand that would produce our desired golden solution overnight, we will not need to persuade the other.
So are you talking about are you saying we should continue to engage PWD? We should continue to engage Ngala Gerard. We should continue to engage Paul Tassong. We should continue to engage Paul Atanganji. Is it what you are talking about?
Secretary Chris, I'm saying that Ngala Gerard, Paul Tassong, Paul Atanganji, PWD are a fabric of our reality. We cannot wish them away. And then incidentally, something that we need to factor in our planning.
Do you think they have the same? Hold on a second. You are here. Hold on a second. Do you think they have?
There's a point I'm making.
Do you think they have the same thinking as you do to try to accommodate us Ambazonians? I mean, these same people.
No, but that is where the leadership responsibility comes in, Comrade Chris.
But they are leaders on their side, right? They are leaders on the other side.
No, that's the way the leadership responsibility comes in. And I'm not saying that we should grant concessions. All I'm saying is that we cannot wish these people away. Now, let me paint a picture to you of how our engagement is outflowing. On the one side, you have people who have taken a certain position, and then you have the Ngala Gerards and the Paul Tassons and the Tanganjis of the world. But neither one nor the other is the most important or more important than the population and the people that sit in the middle. Now, we are like people that are supposed to be placating that population.
The population.
And you would agree with me that
the population.
You would agree with
the population that sits. The population. If comrade, if after 8 years, anybody sits in the middle, whoever sits in the middle is the minority. We are not going to win everybody. We run with the overwhelming majority that says we want a free and independent Ambazonia.
Secretary Chris, I will challenge you on that.
Okay.
I will challenge you on that to say that in 2016, 2017, and which goes to the heart of my point, in 2016, 2017, there was no middle. There was a majority, an overwhelming majority of our people that stood squarely behind the restoration quest and said, let us do independence. But in 2025, out of a collection of the failure in the management of that diversity, I do not think that number is the same. Now, I'm not going to make any speculations on numbers or
The
throw numbers
number
around
may
because
the number may not be the same, but do you doubt?
survey.
The number may not be the same, but do you have any doubt that still the overwhelming majority still stand for a free and independent Ambazonia? Let me put it this other way. Do you think if we were to have a referendum tomorrow, the overwhelming majority will vote for a free and independent Ambazonia?
Absolutely.
Okay, so why do you think
Absolutely.
that now they are not for?
No, here's the challenge of our engagement, Secretary Chris. There is a vast difference between the desirable and the perception of the achievable, right? If you ask any person that if I put you behind a ballot box today and I give you a tick to say independence or federation or union will attribute to Cameroon, what would you choose? 99.9% of born and fidel Southern Cameroonians are going to say independence. There's no question about that. And that has been our predisposition from 2016 right up to even this very moment that you and I are talking. What has been problematic, and which is what I'm putting to you when I talk about management of diversity, when I talk about taking care of the interests of the population, is the whole notion that there is, like you have said in your monologue, in the narrative, a very clear articulation of the historical evolution of our story up to this point. But I'm afraid that in a lot of our narratives and the engagement of a whole lot of our people, they stop at that. And when they stop at that, all it throws out to our people and to the international community is that we have a set of very emotional people that are angry about a few things. The questions that they fail to ask themselves, like you just said, that we were going to have to maintain this posture until justice is done. Justice is done by who? And what is the predisposition of that person to do that justice? And what does justice being done in our case mean? I'm going to suggest to you, for example, that all of the factors that were absent in the Union Treaty that you do outline in the statute, the Union Treaty that existed between Tanganyika and Zanzibar, could be components of constitutional and institutional reform that gives the Southern Cameroons a kind of legal autonomy to pursue self-determination by managing a whole range of the sectors of their own part of the country. Now anybody
you
who
are
comes
speaking the
through with
language
that,
of Capo Daniel and the APJ.
Secretary, please give me 30 seconds to round up on that idea, because
Go
I
on,
think it's a very
please.
important point, and then you can nail me with that on that, right?
Yeah.
Now, for me, this is pragmatism in the resolution of our problem, right? Because you have given a monologue that says this is what happened between Tanganyika and Zanzibar. Now, when you call it a union treaty, a union treaty is just a fancy word for a constitutional legal document that organizes the management of people and resources that was attained at a specific point in time in history. Now, you're saying that that document was drawn up between Tanganyika and Zanzibar at the start of their relationship.
Correct.
Now, the peace plan paper is making the argument that we can still draw up that document now. We can still come up with that kind of constitutional arrangement now. It did not happen for us in 1961, and for all the reasons that you have explained why it did not happen. But then we are making the point that this is why we need to go
okay, I
in
hear
that
you,
direction.
but this is the problem. You want us to go back and redo the Treaty of Union that was not done in either 1961 or 1961. But Cameroon, for how many years today, has said to you and me, we are not going back there. The federation is not on the table. Independence is on the table. Why do you think they will even listen to you? You trying to say, okay, we don't get independence, let's go back and try to get the Articles of Union rewritten. It's like saying, let's give up. When you give up, you go and sit on that negotiation table with La Republic. They give you what they want, not what you desire. That is the problem with your plan. What is wrong for you? What is wrong for you and your team to say, hey, let's sit down and figure out how a federal republic of Ambazonia is going to look like, to use it to put pressure on La Republic. Instead, you are telling them, let's just go back to a federation, whatever type of federation you don't even know. So that is a problem with your plan.
No,
It's
no,
more of
absolutely not,
it's a
Secretary.
federalist plan.
Just give me 30 seconds to respond to you with
You have the
precision,
more than 10
because you've
seconds.
raised, yeah, you've raised very pertinent issues. So, point number one, we are not going back to a union treaty. A union treaty never existed. We're not saying that one should exist. We are
But
saying that
it was
let us
supposed to
pursue-
exist.
No, no, Secretary Chris, just give me 10 seconds without interruption so that I don't lose my train of thought. We're saying that a union treaty did not exist in 1961. We're not saying let us go back to the 1961 Union Treaty and establish one. Neither are we saying let us go back to 1961 and establish a federal constitution. We are saying that from where we are in 2025, let us pursue self-determination through an autonomous model that confides certain responsibilities to the Southern Cameroonian people to manage a series of their affairs. Why is that approach sensitive in our opinion? We are cascading the empowerment of our people and providing capacity to manage themselves in a series of areas progressively, giving
But
them the
comrade, again, I'm
empowerment.
sorry to interrupt you, but it
Let's
appears
speak
like
of-
you haven't read your history. That is what was suggested in AAC1 in Boya, 1993. That is what was suggested in AAC2, 1994 in Bamenda. La Republic never heard that. When we came into this current phase of this struggle, 2016, that was what the teachers, the lawyers, the civil society organization, they requested. Let's go back to 1961 and do exactly what you are suggesting here. It didn't work. 8 years after it hasn't worked. Why do you think we should then bend back after we've declared independence to say, let's just go back and do the homework that wasn't done in 1961?
So again, you still coming back to say I'm saying let us go back. No, I'm not saying let us go back. I'm saying let us go
No,
forward.
that's essentially what you are
I'm not saying
saying. You are saying that
No,
let's
it's
go
not the
and
same
do
thing.
what
I'm not saying let
Tanganyika and
us go back to
Zanzibar did.
1961. No, I'm not saying no. Listen to me patiently, Comrade Chris.
All right.
I'm saying that what you articulated that transpired between Tanganyika and Zanzibar in 1961, it's a constitutional arrangement. Call it union treaty, call it a constitution between whatever you want, whatever name you want to give it. It's a constitutional arrangement between the two people that says that because of the identification of the
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but that is not accurate. That is not, comrade. Hold on there. I will give you have all the time to speak. But give me.
Yes.
Let me correct this. When you call it a constitutional arrangement between them, no, it was more than that. A constitutional arrangement ends within. It is an internal document, but it was deposited at the United Nations. I think Article 6 or 8 of that document says it was deposited at the United Nations as the article of union between Tanganyika and Zanzibar, which is what we are saying. La République du Cameroon, show us the article of union between you and Ambazonia deposited at the United Nations. The United Nations cannot provide one, but for Tanganyika and Zanzibar, they can provide one. It's more than a constitutional document.
Now, when I talk about a constitutional document, Secretary Chris, I'm talking about legal provisions that are set up to manage the relationship between two diverse people. Now, whether that constitutional arrangement or that legal document is deposited at the United Nations or it's not deposited at the United Nations, at the end of the day, it is saying that following the following terms and conditions shall the relationship between these two diverse people be managed. And I want us to zoom on that to say that let us not chase shadows and forget about the substance. I would address the question of it being sent to the United Nations. I'm trying to separate the two. I'm saying that on the one hand, there is a legal provision that explains the management of diversity. That was an arrangement between the two people in recognition of their diversity. And we are saying from the peace plan paper perspective to say that let us cut through the chase and go directly to start having conversations about what should be the nature of the legal arrangement that manages our two people as people that have come together to form the nation called Cameroon. Now, our emphasis here is not whether they are two in one. Our emphasis is in the fact that we are two distinct people with two distinct identities that need a legal arrangement of our engagement. And we are cutting through the chase to say that we are going into the details of what that arrangement should be. This is the low hanging fruit. This is getting into the nitty gritties of the legal and constitutional framework that would define the engagement between the people of the Southern Cameroons and the people of the Republic of Cameroon that came together in 1961. That's the first point of emphasis. Now, to your point of the Union Treaty.
Comrade, why do we, the point is, why do we, if we have the opportunity, if we,
Union Treaty.
Comrade, hold on a second. This is my question to you, because a few years ago, we were all on the same lane, on the same side in this struggle. You were out there, a strong, independent advocate. But suddenly you switch. I don't want to call it switch sides, but you are speaking a language which is not straight. You are talking about if an independent Cameroon, Ambazonia or autonomous Ambazonia, that is still subservient to La République. The only difference is, let's tweak little things here and there and still live together. That is all you are saying. Am I right?
It's not subservient. It's
Well,
not
it
subservient,
is.
and I would want.
For
No,
as
it's-
long
it's
as you
not-
always
it's
have
not-
the
it's not
majority on the
subservient.
other side, about 20 million of them, 8 million of us, we will remain subservient. When they appoint 10 ministers, we will have 2. So we remain
No,
subservient.
Comrade Chris, you cannot reference the legal engagement that bound Tanganyika and Zanzibar together as a model that is succeeding between a majoritarian population of Tanganyika and a minority population of Zanzibar, and saying that that never happens to us, and then in the same show, in the same sentence, go ahead to say that if we ended up with a similar kind of arrangement with the Republic of Cameroon, it's going to make us subservient. We cannot eat our cake and have it. We are a minority in size. Population. No, let me finish. The point I'm making is that there has to be some kind of arrangement that defines the fact that there are 20 million and we are 8 million. That is our reality. We are not going to give birth to children overnight.
Yeah,
to
you are
become 20 million
talking. You are
together.
talking in terms of one Cameroon. We are no longer talking in terms the language of one Cameroon. That is where we differ.
Secretary Chris, for me, the whole posturing of whether we are talking about one Cameroon or not, for me, it's semantics. And I say that with all the.
Comrade, I don't understand. You are a doctor.
No, let me explain what I mean by
You are a
semantics.
doctor. When you
When
talk
I say
about
it's semantics,
it's
no,
not
when I say it's
semantics.
semantics,
Independence for
no,
two separate
I call it
countries
semantics,
isn't
and let me
semantics.
explain why I call it semantics.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
let me explain why I call it semantics.
Okay.
Let me explain why I call it semantics. I call it semantics because you and I sitting at the moment, until contrary is proven, we are talking about undoing an illegal constitutional arrangement that has lasted for 60 years, that has made you and I to, at this moment, be carriers of Cameroonian passports. Notwithstanding all the history, notwithstanding all the things that we stand for, notwithstanding everything that we have argued for, the process of unbundling that illegality would have to take a constitutional and a legal process. The express desire of the outcome is clear.
To what end?
Express desire of what outcome? Secretary Chris, you and I are not disagreeing about what outcome we want.
No,
Where
I
you
think
and
we
I
do.
are
I think we do.
No,
I think
where
we
you and
do.
I, where you and I, Secretary Chris, where don't we differ? Independence is desirable. Where do we not differ? Majority of Southern Cameroonians want independence. Where do you and I differ? It's on the how. It's on the step-by-step process of given
what
where
you
we
are
are at
talking,
the
where
moment.
you and
how
I
do we
differ,
move from
where
here
you and
move
I
forward?
differ,
Yeah.
where you and I differ is you are talking autonomy, which is why you are referring to the revisiting the union. I am talking about
The union treaty which
independence,
you referenced.
outright independence.
I just used your union treaty to make my point. To say that when you highlight the fact that a union treaty existed between Tanzania and Tanganyika, it facilitated the management of a diverse population. And I am saying that we are making that same argument.
I was articulate in the case of Tanganyika and Zanzibar.
Let me put it to you differently, Comrade Chris.
No, listen to me.
You are the one asking the questions. Let me put it to you differently.
No. Let me explain this. Hold on.
Yeah.
In the case of Tanganyika and Zanzibar, I was articulating what was supposed to be the case for Ambazona, which did not. If we had that, we won't be here today.
I agree. And my question to you is this. If you wake up tomorrow morning to the announcement that the Union Treaty has been drawn up and submitted to the United Nations, will that change your predisposition?
No.
Okay. Now, if you wake up tomorrow morning to the announcement that that Union Treaty that should have been deposited in 1961 that defines the difference between our respective engagements has now been transferred and is sitting on the desk of Antonio Guterres, that says that this is what is supposed to have happened between Southern Cameroon and the British Cameroon, defining each person respecting their site, the constitutional arrangement I'm talking about, having every person manage their own resource, the constitutional arrangement I'm talking about, having every person have autonomy and self-determination on their own side, the constitutional arrangement I'm talking about. If that document is sitting on the desk of Antonio Guterres today to say that moving forward, this is the relationship that should regulate these two peoples, would you consider that an accomplishment of what did not happen in 1961?
No.
Let me
explain to you, comrade. Let me explain to you why.
Yes.
Because we have gone past 1961. Today, we are no longer talking about 1961. It didn't have to take 30,000 people being killed for them to talk about Articles of Union. We have gone past that. That is the point. We've gone past autonomy. We've gone past revisiting the Constitution. They tried that, the tripartite something in 1991 or so. Remember the famous tripartite something? They said they were revisiting the Constitution. Nothing came out of there. So if the United Nations should come out today with some treaty of union, we would just tell them we have gone past the point of a treaty of union because our people didn't have to die for them to do that. We've passed that.
I agree with you. But my principal challenge with you and with most of our people is that the core arguments that we use to articulate our express preferences is questions around what never happened around the Union of Treaty. Show me the Union of Treaty that was supposed to be deposited as it was in the case of Tanganyika. This was a charade. It was a chase annexation. All the same whole set of arguments which I personally came to a point where, and I think that is where we fundamentally also disagree. I had to come to the terms of the fact that the so-called international community and the people from whom we're expecting justice don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't give a damn. That conversation and those arguments and those explanations only matter to us because we are the ones that is feeling the pain. We're the ones that are dealing with the reality on a daily basis. But the people that we are engaging, the people that we are accusing, the people that we are approaching, they don't care. As far as they are concerned, that is something that is buried, done, and dusted, and it's a fact of history. Now, where does that leave us? It leaves us with La République du Cameroun. And if you go back into the historical resolution of apartheid between the apartheid government and the ANC, you're going to realize that when it came to the stage of negotiation, the ANC and the black leadership negotiated directly with the apartheid government without the international community. So I want us to have a change of paradigm that gets us to realize that our engagement is supposed to be happening with La République du Cameroon.
Comrade, you are right, but remember, listen, no. You are comparing apples with oranges. Yes, apartheid South Africa had no option but to discuss their fate with the apartheid regime because the blacks were not looking for a country of their own, a state of their own. They just wanted a situation where they could have the franchise to be able to cast a vote like every other person. In this case, that's not what we are looking for. It is not apartheid in La République du Cameroun. It is annexation. It is colonization. And we are saying we want to get out of it. So it has to deal with the international bodies that matter and La République du Cameroun. That's what it should be.
Okay, Secretary Chris, I agree with you. Let us not split hair over what, because apartheid and annexation and oppression of black people in South Africa and what we are experiencing in Cameroon, we can agree or disagree whether it's similar or different. Yes, I agree with you that the outcomes that was pursued and what they wanted was different. But bottom line, and this is where you and I need to come to terms with the fact that you are saying that we need to engage the Republic of Cameroon and international actors. I am saying that international actors are not interested.
Well, why do you think they're not interested?
No, they're
they
not.
were international actors were interested in
international actors were interested. The British government is not interested in reopening the case.
No. That's an overstatement. That's an overstatement. That's an overstatement. International actors were interested in Sudan. They were interested in Eritrea. They are interested in Somaliland. They are interested in Ambazonia. So it's an overstatement to say, So you are saying Cameroon, our fate lies in the hands of Cameroon. They wave their hand to the right, we follow. They wave their hand to the left, we follow.
The point that you and I are, the point that we are engaging upon is an extremely important point. And you and I need to get our people to resolve this question of the posture of the international community. On your show, in the course of your engagement, in a number of your references with Thibaut Nagy has said it over and over and over again. As much as he's an advocate of the Amazonian cause, and as much as he's an advocate of the oppression and he's against what the regime has done, and as much as he has supported us, whether it be him as Other Secretary for Africa, or it be through the channels of French diplomats, or especially the British diplomats, who are the biggest culprits in this conversation, you will get that over and over and over again. We are not interested to reopen that file. I need you and I to agree that in the course of our engagement with international stakeholders, that is the message that we are getting over and over and over again. Now, the points that you raise about Eritrea and South Sudan and all those other examples that got into the international actors, it's a sublime message you are supposed to be putting forward, is the argument that we need to be able to do what each of those countries did, which is fight a war of independence and cause so much casualty that would get the attention of the international community. If you are hoping the international community is going to develop interest in our case based on history alone, you and I will be lying to ourselves. It's not going to happen.
No. You cannot ignore history here. But based on your point, Eritrea fought for how many years? 30 years to attain the number of casualties you're talking about. South Sudan fought for how many years? About 20 years to attain the number of. We are in the 9th year, comrade. We are in the 9th. We are in the 9th year. We are getting there. We are getting there.
Compared to just a minute, let me address that point before you go over it. Compared to what South Sudan and Somalia did, we are not fighting. What we are doing down there, it's called guerrilla warfare. What we're doing down there is dismantling systematically.
Hold on there. Let me ask you a fundamental question here. Let me ask you.
Yes.
I'd like you to articulate what you believe to be the solution to this conflict. How you want to see it end. Because I like to hear what you really have in your mind. Because I know you are working with JJ Asongo, right, with APJ and the International Communities Organization. What is the picture that you visualize in your mind as the end solution to this conflict? I like everybody to hear what your vision is and how it ends and how you get there.
In 30 seconds and in very, very short time.
You have 1 minute. 1 minute to do that.
1 minute. Independence is what we deserve.
Okay.
Our pathway to independence is through a war of independence. For us to be able to fight war and succeed in war, we need leadership, we need resources, we need support of the international community. We have struggled at a level of leadership that can lead a war of liberation. We have struggled at a level of the accumulation of resources that can sponsor and fund a war of liberation. We have struggled at the level of diplomatic engagements that it takes to bring about support for war of liberation. Those three are critical elements that it has taken us 9 years to try and get our act together. And where you and I am sitting, I have come to the frank and pragmatic realization that from everything that we have seen for the last 9 years, we are not about to accumulate the resources that is necessary to fight the war of independence anytime soon. In fact, our best and peak epitome of resource mobilization was under your leadership as Secretary of Communication under Comrade Sako. That was the highest we have attained as far as resource mobilization is concerned. How that transpired is a story for another day. I'm not going to go into those details because it's not very important. It was a peak we attained, and we have started descending since then. We have been trying to kickstart the machinery of resource mobilization to get back to that peak. For a combination of reasons, we have not started climbing and ascending again. For me, that is realism. It is pragmatism. And it is critical to win a war of independence. And if that resource mobilization is not happening, and there are no signs that it's going to happen anytime soon, we need to come to terms with the fact and note that we are missing one of key 3 important elements as far as the war of liberation is concerned. Let's come to the question of leadership. And you and a lot of people have done a whole lot of work, given this thing your best, poured out your heart and your liver to push us forward. And you should receive credit very significantly for how far we have come.
Comrade,
but when you put the sum,
I think you deviated from you have deviated from what I want to hear. I want to hear. Yes, I hear you. I hear you, but where do you want? How do you want to end in your plan for Ambazonia? Where is the end game?
Preface my conclusion. These points are absolutely important for me to preface my position, Secretary.
Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time for that. Just give us point by point how you want us to end the end game.
I'm landing. If you did not interrupt me, I would have wrapped up on those points and already concluded.
I gave you a minute. You spoke more than a minute already. Go ahead, land.
Secretary, so at least I was giving you credit for your hard work. So you should at least take the brownie points and
that is not flattery, right?
Yeah. So it's a resource question. It's a leadership question. It's a support question. And I'm saying that I don't see anything on the ground at the moment that says that
you cannot see anything on the ground at the moment, comrade. When you are not involved, you are not involved, you are not engaged, you have a different idea, and you think all that is good enough is the idea you have. What happened in Bamenda yesterday? No. What did you call that?
No, absolutely.
What is happening in Bui, Unity Warriors? What do you call that? What is happening all about? I mean, come on. The problem is you see yourself on the other side. You see a different end to this. You see autonomy in this. You don't see a free and independent ambassador in this.
We have top-level professionals talking facts here, not wishes. You cannot compare what is happening in Bui and Bamenda to what happened in Eritrea and South Sudan.
It didn't happen one day, comrade. What happened? It didn't happen overnight. It happened over 30 years. It happened over 30 years.
Comrade Chris,
let me ask you. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Comrade, hold on. I'm the host here. Hold on. I'm asking you a question.
Do the same thing and expect different results. The question I want to ask is, what are we doing in year 9?
Let me ask you. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. I'm the host here, comrade. Hold on. When you talked about, it took Eritrea 30, we are not doing what Eritrea is doing. Eritrea was killing more people, I guess, and causing more devastation. I guess that is what you want to say. But if I may ask
No, that's not what I want to say. I'm saying that Eritrea was fighting a war,
this
a well-resourced war with a well-trained army.
Let me ask a question.
From its diaspora.
Let me ask a question.
Great military ammunition.
I don't want to cut your microphone. I don't want. Your microphone is off. Your microphone is off. Please listen to me. I don't want to be cutting your microphone. You know I'm the host here, right? So, but this is my point. This is my question. Larababladu Cameroon said we were 2 cubes of sugar from day number 1. And in their mindset, they were going to crush us in 2 weeks. It's been 8 years. They've not been able to crush us. If they had the opportunity to restart it all over again, going by what they have seen and encountered, do you sit there thinking that a public will say, we need this war? And if they will say, no, we don't need this war, isn't that a mark of progress with what we have done? You can go ahead and answer.
Absolutely. I'm not saying that we have not put up a resistance. I'm not saying that we have not demonstrated. If anything, I would agree with you that we have shaped Cameroon history and Cameroon policy and Cameroon politics for the last 8 years, the last 9 years. We have been the tail that has wagged the dog. We have outdone ourselves. We have surprised them. They did not do this much. We have been able to demonstrate to them that we mean what we say and we can do what we mean. The question which you and I want us to confront is, are we doing enough to attain independence? That's my question. The question which I want you and I to coldly address is that with all the resistance that we're putting up, does this qualify as a war of independence? Are we fighting an independence war, or are we putting up a resistance? They're not the same thing. Your mic is muted. Your mic is muted. I can't hear you.
I think with how far we have gone, what we have done, yes, we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. Now you have to agree with me. Many people, including you, I believe, thought from the onset this thing will be 6 months, 1 year or 2 years, or maybe 3 years. It will be all over. And so it has gone past 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, and people like you have fallen by the wayside and your language have changed, and you just don't seem to see the progress that people who are still in it, who still maintain the vision, have made. You don't see what the restoration fighters are doing on the ground. They have not been defeated. They won't be defeated. If they were defeated, a lot of people would be playing drums and dancing all over the place. We are talking about 11 February today. A lot of people wouldn't be able to conduct that event as they used to do it because the resistance is still there. Why don't you see this?
I see it. I see there's resistance. I see there is a systematic effort to delegitimize the presence of the La Republic governance over our territory. I see the effort of registration fighters. The point which I think you and I have as a leadership responsibility is to be able to make the argument whether or not the resistance that we are putting up, where we are at the moment, is going to translate to independence, and how. Maybe I'm going ahead of myself, and maybe I'm looking further down the line and asking myself a fundamental question: that can we, with sporadic engagements of dismantling the presence of La République Cameroon in our territory, in the current context and format in which we are operating, translates to independence? That step-by-step process of where we go to from here to convince the international community to organize a referendum that gets us to vote for independence and exit La République Cameroon. That's where you and I differ. It's not to disregard or to say that everything that has
make that point again. I think I missed it a little bit. Make that point again. I missed it a little bit.
So I'm saying that there has been resistance, there has been work done, a lot has gone into the last 9 years. But the point I'm saying, the point I'm making is that none of that which we are doing at the moment is going to translate to independence. That is where you and I may not be differing, because you and I need to agree on the fact that whatever happens on the ground, if we need to just stick to the Eritrea and South Sudan case, need to go to a scale that attracts the international community to bring La République Cameroon to a table to say that organize a referendum and give these people independence. I'm trying to play into the classical playbook of independence.
Why don't you have faith that we're going to get to that scale? When we started in 2016, we had Tatar boys fighting with cutlasses and chavum guns. Today they are using RPGs, comrade. There is progress. again, do not forget the fact that this is the 9th year and La Republic is yet to declare victory. Why do you say like a Pharisee?
Secretary Chris, Comrade Chris, it is not about faith. When you are leading a war of liberation, it's about tactics and strategies, resources and engagements that get the stakeholders.
I am talking about the kind of faith. No. I'm talking about the kind of faith that says if I don't have the equipment I need today, I will have it tomorrow. That's what I'm talking about. As we start again, when we started, for instance, we didn't have what we had now then. But we had faith that going forward, we will have the necessary equipment, and things have changed. So why can't you believe that as we move on, we're going to get better and better?
I don't believe in fairy tales, Secretary Chris.
So
God will drop from the sky.
You don't believe in fairy tales. How do you want me to believe that La Republic is going to agree with you? Let's go and sit down, redraw the constitution, and then deposit it at the United. What do you want me to believe that if for 61 years they have done nothing?
Because our proposition is a constitutional and institutional reform one.
We've gone
that we want to persuade our people to stop.
We've gone past constitutional propositions because for 91 years we did not have one.
Let me make the point so that you should get it.
I think you've made the point, comrade. The point is that you want us to go back and say to La Republic to Cameroon, let's redo the constitution.
In the form of a question. You and I, we have two approaches to resolving this problem. Your approach is build resistance, fight, get the international community to come and organize a referendum and give independence. My argument against your approach is that, number one, we do not have the resources to build that kind of resistance.
That is your opinion. That is your opinion. No. I won't let you go with our statements. That is your opinion. Because if you are not engaged in raising the funds, yeah, you have the right to say so. But those of us who are engaged in the fee, raising the funds, funding the boys, we know what we're capable of doing. Things may be slow, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have breakthroughs, comrade. You just want to cut. Your idea is just to cut and run. Cut and run.
No. If again you would let me to finish my answer without interrupting me, just for 30 seconds.
All right, finish it briefly. We're going to open the phone lines for our listeners to come in and contribute.
Right. If you let me to finish my just 30 seconds on interrupt. If you give me a minute, the point I'm making, and I've made that point again. The distinction between your position and my position is the following: we all believe independence is the thing that we deserve.
No, I don't think you believe independence, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. We all believe that independence is what we deserve. But I'm saying that some of us have done a core analysis of the requirements of independence. It has to come through a liberation war that needs resources, leadership, and support of the international community. And we have done an assessment of the post of the international community, and we have come to a conclusion that they are not willing to give us support. We have done an assessment of. Let me finish, Secretary. You committed not to interrupt me for 1 minute. Just count those 30 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've done an assessment of the posture of the quality and caliber of leadership that it takes to lead. While we have very capable people like yourself sitting and doing a whole lot of good things, we have not yet had the emergence of the kind of overriding leadership structure that can run a liberation war. And the most critical thing that we need to do a war of independence, which is money, we have not been able to muster it. And we have done that 3 assessment, and I've come to the conclusion or come to a realization that because of this reality, pragmatic reality of where it would take us to pursue a liberation war, we need a different strategy entails engaging. No.
Come on, I've given you more than 50 seconds, comrade. I need to get on a break. We'll come back. We open the phone lines.
Very important. You keep cutting me. Let me finish my strategy.
But you keep talking, comrade. We're not going to stay here forever.
No, my strategy has not been outlined. My strategy is a strategy that says we want to come up with a proposition for constitutional reform that reflects the spirit and the letter of the Union Treaty between Tanganyika and Zanzibar, that we persuade our people to support by persuading La République du Cameroun to support, to give self-determination and autonomy to the people of Southern Cameroon. That is our proposition.
All
Our
right.
proposition says it's direct engagement with La République du Cameroon to give us autonomy and self-determination, giving us responsibility over a range of factors. And how do we intend to accomplish that? By persuading our people to support our plan. We are not depending on an international community to force La République du Cameroon. We are saying that we need to engage them on a one-on-one basis and persuade them to support constitutional reforms that will bring about autonomy for the Southern Cameroons and give them self-determination. Thank you, Secretary Chris, for allowing me to finish that point.
Well, I hear you, but depending on our people to support a constitutional change, the resources are not. Comrade, you are speaking the language we've been speaking for. What were the Fonchas, the Munas, the Fosong, the Mfongala, and for who is in Jena? That is the gospel they preached for 61 years. We went nowhere with it until we are here today. It's a defeatist strategy, I think. But hold on there. I will come back, open the phones, and let's hear what the people out there are saying. Stay put, please.
Flagship model offers personalized coaching and assistance to newly arrived individuals into the country through a concierge service and one-stop resource on your phone. The app supports essential areas of integration, such as job search strategies, benefits applications, financial literacy, credit repair, legal guidance, and more. The platform aims to become the go-to resource as you navigate the complexities of settling into a new country. Thrive America, the flagship model, offers personalized coaching and assistance to newly arrived individuals into the country through a concierge service and one-stop resource on your phone. The app supports essential areas of integration, such as job search strategies, benefits applications, financial literacy, credit repair, legal guidance, and more. The platform aims to become the go-to resource as you navigate the complexities of
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying put out there. Unfortunately, we were supposed to have Professor Carson Ayangwe and Comrade Dennis Item as part of my panel here. Unfortunately, both of them, Professor Carson and Dennis, they had issues, they had problems logging in, joining the set, and so they tried and they couldn't. That is why I got stuck with my one guest here, but I think it has been quite a heated debate here. Now the phone line is open. You have the phone line there. You want to call in, make a contribution, make your point. The phone line is open, but make sure before you call, turn down the volume of your television set and focus on the phone when you call. Focus on the phone when you call. Again, the phone line is open there. And okay, let me get to the first caller here. Hello.
Hello, Comrade Chris.
Hello, good afternoon, evening, sir. You are calling from where?
This is evening. I'm calling from the Netherlands. And, this is Maitre Nicom.
Oh, Maitre Nicoms. Okay, good to hear your voice, sir.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's rather unfortunate I could not be on your broadcast today due to some circumstances, but I'm okay right now just to calling in.
Okay.
It has been a very, very, very painful, kind of exercise for me to watch through the debate you had with the guest. I've forgotten his name. I think
Dr. Gabila.
He was a bit active sometime when we were very, very strong fighting way forward. I don't know what triggered him to
to go back to where he is today. You know, I understand that the purpose of education is to benefit yourself and then serve mankind and society, and especially your people. It is rather so sad that I want to believe that Mr. I don't know his name.
Dr. Gabila?
Okay, yeah. I want to believe that he's a very, very educated person, but it's rather very, very unfortunate that he's so dishonest to himself, even to his people. I wonder whether his placenta is still buried in Amazonia. Because he is articulating issues that he knows very, very well. He mentioned the peak when we had the highest fundraising. But yeah, you might raise funds to any level and do nothing with it. And then you might not even raise funds to any level, but you do things without the funds. He did not even know that. It is very, very intellectually dishonest of him to be stating that, okay, there is an illegality functioning between the two people, Southern Cameroon and the Republic of Cameroon. And we are fighting that illegality. And now he jumps the fence, stand with the Republic of Cameroon, and then fighting is good that, no, let's start with this road and ask them to give us autonomy. How do you ask somebody to give you autonomy when you were the same with him in the same gang? You start the same. We were good member of the UN Stewardship Territory.
Right.
But now today I see him standing with Dr. Asomungu or the Capoda, and people like him. They speak from both sides of their mouth. It's not even good for our people to be listening. You gave him enough more time, enough air time to stand in the conference place. I think people like him will only help to brainwash and then distort facts of our history. Please, this is not a time for us to be bringing this high grammatical explanation. We are not just, we know what we want, we know where we are standing, we know where we are going. We have, for 9 good years, the Republic of Cameroon is unable to govern Amazonia. They cannot even govern 10%. They sneak in overnight. They start to prepare 11 February. They start celebrating 11 February on the 4th of February, hiding behind closed doors, sneaking pictures, sending them on air, preaching about Federation 11 February. Mr. Dotto, do you also understand that for 61 years, the Republic of Cameroon has taken the result of a plebiscite as an agreement between the people of Southern Cameroon
Exactly.
and Cameroon. It was a recommended vote. Go meet the people of the Republic of Cameroon, discuss with them, come back to us, and let's know the term of how we're going to unite, cooperate or live side by side with them. But no, the Republic of Cameroon manipulated everything, distorted the facts, and then turned that result into an agreement which they cannot even prove in writing. And you will see my able brother, comrade, whom I believe is a very, very intelligent. I don't know whether I don't want to believe that maybe he's on the payslip of the Republic. I don't want to accuse him of that. But I don't even know what has triggered him to be defending the Republic of Cameroon or standing and defending their own side so vigorously that he does not even see the fact, the achievement Amazonians have done and are still doing. People have died. They are still dying. Instead of coming up to say, okay, no, this is where we are today. How many times have Republic Cameroon have been called to the table to sit and discuss? They start again, the next day they escape, they run away. They deny. You want them to go and grant you autonomy, then they see you for some time to see where you can govern yourself, then so that we can continue constitutional kind of reform talk. My brother, please, jump down. Please.
All right.
If you are happy where you are, not everybody is happy where they are. I want to go home.
All right. Thank you, comrade. Let's get to other callers here. Thank you for the contribution. I will have him respond eventually. Okay, the phone line is open. I see people trying to call and the lines were busy. Go ahead and call if you have been trying to call. The phone line is open right now. You can go ahead and call. All right. While we wait for the calls, I see the comments on the social media. They are very critical of Dr. Gabila, and I see the consensus is like we shouldn't have invited him here. Shouldn't have invited him here. But you guys know that here on ABS we bring in. We're not afraid of any shade of opinion. They only can make us reason better. When you hear arguments like the ones that Dr. Gabriela brought here, these are all things that have been tried. These are all things that have been tried from the days of the Monas, the Funchas, the Constitutional Council that took place, I think, 1991 in Yaoundé with the tripartite and so on and so forth. We tried AAC 1, we tried AAC 2. The teachers, the lawyers, they came up and they tried and said, La Republique, let's go back to 1961 with the federal system. Of course, La Republique refused to agree to it. Now, they have killed over 30,000 of our people in the course of 9 years. So, why would we now want to go to the United Nations to discover a treaty of union that we have never seen for 61 years? Only because we are asking for our own self-determination, our own independence. The point is, we've gone past that. We've gone past that. And so I even ask people with the idea of Dr. Gabila, you go and tell our Republic to Cameroon, we just want us to sit down and go back to look at the 1961 and redo what Tanganyika and Zanzibar did. You think Cameroon is going to listen to you? Of course not, because you're getting to them from a weaker position. That's just the case. You're getting to them from a weaker position. They will not listen to you. All the highest they will do is say, let's have 10-state federation. However, we will still appoint your governor. We will still have upon your divisional or your colonial divisional officer. We will still choose who your mayor is. That is not what our people are fighting and dying for. Absolutely not. So let us fight this game. If they defeat us, so be it. But let's know we fought it and not to go and bow down and compromise to something that our children will live to fight again. All right, again, the phone line is open, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and call. I saw many of you calling while the last caller was trying to call. Go ahead and call. Is it impossible to move on and get the opinion of other panelists at the same point? You seem to be going round and round with this guest, and it's getting hideous to watch. Okay, well, again, unfortunately, I had two other guests who couldn't log in, and I had to accommodate my current guest. Let me get back to you, Dr. Gabriela. You hear what people are saying out here. Do you think all these people are wrong and you are right?
No, no, that would be extremely presumptuous on my part. And thank you very much, Secretary Chris, for the opportunity again. I want to address the concerns from Maitre Nikong, if I got the name very correctly, to say that the sentiments that he has is shared by a number of our people. And like you say, and you correctly articulate, the responsibility that we do have as leaders or as opinion leaders or as people that are applying our minds to this question is not an emotional one. We have the responsibility to convert the frustrations of our people and their aspirations into practical solutions. And the disposition that we have adopted, and which I want Metri Nikong to also engage and appreciate with me, and the argument we have made, is that there is no dispute around the history of our people, where we're coming from, how we got here. There is no disagreement about the assimilation. There is no disagreement about the fads of 1961 and its consequences, and there is no disagreement about the extent of the frustration with our system. The only point where my intervention and our proposition differs from the bulk of our people has to do with our appreciation of the disposition of the international community. the way it's structured, the way it's set up, and the way it works. Now, and the point, Secretary Chris, which our people need to understand and fully appreciate, which is the point which I have sought to make here, is that this history that is so important to us, these facts that matter so much to us, it would appear, as far as the disposition of the international community is concerned, they do not place the same weight on these issues that we place. That is
No,
the most polite way of
I would not. I would not appreciate you sitting here to make statements which are absolutely not accurate and which seeks to demoralize our people.
No, Secretary Chris.
No, it's
No,
a fact. It's a fact. You know that we are dealing with people in the international community. I cannot sit here and name names and mention who we are dealing with. You have been out of this for a while. Recently, you joined ranks with Capo Daniel and JJ Asongo, and you are talking about some autonomy. And you are sitting
Secretary
here
Chris.
talking about the international community not supporting it. But
Secretary,
hold on, let me get
Chris.
to this caller. Let me. I think
No,
the
Secretary
caller-
Chris, you can't just throw that and then let me not respond.
No,
We're
but
talking
I'm
facts.
responding to you, comrade. It's not everything that
Yeah,
you should
no,
be
no,
responding
you
to. If you want to
interrupted
call,
me
go ahead
and
and
then you
call, please. The
said
line
that-
is open.
Yeah.
But I'm making a statement of fact. You cannot just be throwing
No,
this
no,
statement
Secretary
out
Chris,
there.
this is what I'm saying. This is
trying
what
to
I'm saying.
demoralize anybody.
No,
Let me
forget
get
about
to
the
my
whole
caller
nonsense.
here. Hello.
That is,
Good evening.
yeah.
Good evening,
Forget-
sir. Where are you calling from?
Yes, I want to make a contribution, please. I heard Dr. Gabila struggling to explain himself, which I appreciate very much. He talks a lot of sense, but I don't think that struggling to support the wrong thing, despite how much knowledge you put in, can never make the wrong thing right. Because he talked about other wars having been fought outrightly. But I also want him to know that the occupiers of those wars that were fought outrightly had to back up because they were unable to support the war from their own end.
Exactly.
Does he think that the current state with the Cameroon government, what the Cameroon government is going through, doesn't he see that at one point in time the Cameroon government will not be able to support the war any longer, despite the fact that the Amber Boys, as they call them, are doing it the rudimentary way? When the Cameroon government will not be able to support the war from its own end, doesn't he think that the Cameroon government will back down or tune down because of lack of resources? So many organizations in Cameroon are not able to pay their employers. Why? Because the war is taking a great toll of their income. And that is the only way that they will tend not to give in, because the time will come when they will not be able to support their economy because of this war. Despite the fact that it's not an outright war. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I
You make.
enjoyed the show very much.
Thank you. That's a very good point, and these are the things that Dr. Gabila and the rest, they don't see. They don't see that La Republic is fading out, running out of money, running out of the army. You see what is happening in the north of La Republic du Cameroon, where even arms are being built up there, and the population is pouring out, chasing out their governors. Something is in the making. Comrade, this war is a matter of time, and that is why I say, yeah, you may have your idea, may sound like a good one that gives us autonomy, but we should not cut and run with a perception we cannot win. We have gone for 9 years. Who knew we can make it for 1 month or 2 months? We were 2 cubes of sugar. Why can't you see this?
Secretary Chris, we've made a lot of progress. The point I'm making is that we can pursue this, whatever we're doing at the moment, for the next 10, 15, 20 years. This is the pathway to independence. We need to be able to, at some point, walk into New York, get into United Secretaries and say, reopen the files of the independence of the Southern Cameroons and correct the following elements.
It is
As far as
not
the
done.
people of this state are concerned,
Don't you are
Secretary,
a very educated person. You know that it is
No,
not
Secretary,
done
please.
that way. You don't walk into the United Nations and open the files of the Southern of independence.
I'm
of Southern
cutting to the
Cameroon.
chase.
You fight it and
I'm
push
getting
them
to
to
the
accept
chase.
it. You know,
I'm cutting to
have
the
you
chase.
heard this saying? Independence is not given; it is taken.
I'm cutting to the chase. Independent that is taken essentially says that you fight so badly and you
Yes.
inflict so much casualty. No, Secretary,
And we
please,
are
I need to answer if
fighting,
you ask me
and we
questions.
are fighting,
If
and
you
we
ask
have
me questions,
fought
I need
for
to answer the
9
question.
years.
Yes, independent says that I am playing the tape of the outcome of the fight. The tape of the outcome of the fight is that the fight gets so intense that international community says what is happening down there. Why are these two people fighting? And then you come forward and says that this is why they are fighting. This is the history that was wrong and needs to be corrected. And it says, okay, we agree with you. This is how we're going to correct the history.
But I
That is
did
the
not
tape.
saying
That is
that.
the tape.
I did not saying
That is
that.
the tape.
I did
No, that
not
is the
saying
tape.
that.
That's the tape.
I
That's
did
the
not.
tape.
Is the
That's
international
the
community,
that is the
U.S.
future
Congress
of the
has
war.
issued resolutions. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get to this caller. I'll get back to you. Hello. 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 Please turn down the volume of your set. Turn down the volume of your set and focus on your phone. Okay, I think there's a poor network there with that caller.
Secretary Chris, you not give me a chance to respond to Metro Nikong and the
No,
last
because
caller.
you're making
Because when I
outrageous
want to-
statements, comrade.
Yeah, because every time I want to talk, I'm saying outrageous things, and you keep cutting me. Then I don't follow any single argument line of thought to the very end.
Number
I'm not
one,
responding
when
to
you
Metro
say
Nikong.
it is time to walk to the United Nations and open our files, tell me which country has won independence by walking to the United Nations. You fight for it and you take it. Then the United Nations come in and endorse it.
That is the point I am making. You fight for it and you take it, and then the United Nations comes in
But your
and
own point
endorses
is
it.
you don't want to fight. You don't see victory. You think that the end is here.
I don't think or seem to think that the end is here. I'm making the point that the international community is not interested in reopening our history.
Well,
They are not interested.
I have heard that a lot. I have heard that a lot. So let's just wave the white flag and surrender, like I guess you are trying to do, and give
That
up.
is not the point I'm making.
Oh,
You
that's the
need
point
to
you're
be
making.
able to, in the rollout of every strategy, be able to paint a picture of the end of that strategy.
Let me get to this
And
caller, please. Hello.
No, just a minute, Secretary Chris. In the strategy
Hold on,
you're
hold on,
currently
hold on. Hello.
pursuing,
Hello, Comrade. This is Dr. Mituge.
Oh, Dr. Metuge, good to hear your voice, sir. What is on your mind?
Yeah. This guy should not be given this more space. Hello. Let him stop talking, then let him talk. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Go on.
This is Dr. Mituge.
Yes.
Yes, a pleasure. Yeah, the thing is that this guy, if he was in, would have known what is happening. But since he's not in, he's out there with Kapudana and the rest trying to. Yeah, since he's not in to know what is happening, so let him stay out there and be jumping around with what they are trying to do with Kapu Daniel. If he was in, he will know what is happening. And here we should not let him know what we've done so far, because he will take it to the Republic. And I'm sure they are busy writing what to take to the UN. Yeah, so that it should be like what was not done is what should be done now from their own camp. Please.
All right.
This president is trying to scare so many Brazilians.
Listen, comrade, for those who think that it should not be here, I don't buy that. I think it is good to bring them out once in a while so they can hear from people like you and know that they are not standing on the popular position. I guess that is what I see in the commentary. That's what I hear in the phone calls. It is good to put it in their eyes. They are on the wrong side.
No.
All right.
Chris, before you let go, Dr. Metuge, I would have expected Dr. Metuge to roll out.
All right, let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Relations engagement aspect of
Hello.
the strategy.
Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon, Comrade Luis.
Good afternoon, sir. Where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from La Republic. I'm calling.
Okay, from the neighboring country. All right. What is on your mind, sir?
Yeah, actually, I came and I logged in and I was following the show, the program, quite interesting. And I have said to your guest, to the doctor, I have come to the conclusion that from what to him said, the points that he has raised, he does not have any clear point of view, any solution to the problem, to the Amazonian crisis. He talked about the problem with the leadership, that the leadership is unable to act the diverse views of the Amazonian people. I to find out from him. So he actually believes that in war times like this, is it possible for the leaders to be able to accommodate the different views of the people in times like this? Because I believe that in times like this, the leadership has to pick up, the view that is more important, and then they run with just as useless. But he is on the point that they have to accommodate the different views of people, and I don't really see that possible. I just want to again to ask how possible could that be? The leadership accommodating the different views of the people in war times like this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, you make the point there. That is what I opposed from the beginning. You don't go and try to accommodate other views that do not even agree with you. Maybe they agree with this argument of autonomy and rewriting the Constitution. That is not what we are looking for. We're not looking for rewriting the Constitution. And when you make the idea that there are no leaders or the leaders are tired, if we don't have leaders today, when you get Ambazonia in your federalism, who's going to lead? All right. Let's get to the next caller here. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Comrade Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Goketunja County.
Goketunja County. Okay. What is on your mind?
Yes, so I want to talk to your guest.
All right. You have 1 minute.
In fact, yes, he was talking about when you talked about you don't wait to be given freedom, fight for that. He affirmed that yes, it means you have to fight very, very badly. That's what he used, very, very badly on the ground. I want to ask, what efforts has he done? He has seen the IG and other groups struggling to fight on the ground zero. What has he done to contribute that the fighting should be intensified on ground zero? That's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. May I let him answer that? Comrade, you heard the question, right? Did you hear the caller?
You have had a series of callers that have put a number of questions to me. Do you
Yeah,
want me to
just,
answer
the
all of
others
them?
made comments. This one asked a question.
I know all three of them have posed very specific questions. The first person talked about the interest of the international community in what we are doing. The second person says that we have strategies that we are going to roll out that we are not aware of, and so they're going to work out. We don't need to tell them because they're going to take them to Cameroon. The third person says that fighting needs to be intensified, and we need to make contributions to the fighting,
No,
including what's happening.
Actually asked, you said that fighting need to be intensified with money from the diaspora.
He spoke to the 3 points that I made. A successful war is one. A successful war of independence. A successful war of independence is won on the strength of resources, leadership, and international support. Those are the 3 elements. Now, I've long come off the point where I believe that we are capable of persecuting a successful war of independence. What I think is happening on the ground.
That summarizes where you are coming from today. So, again,
no. What we are doing at the ground, we have had a degenerated security situation that has resulted to the kind of banditry that you illustrated in your program, notwithstanding the work that well-meaning restoration fighters are doing, that creates a very mixed, potent situation that is completely chaotic on the ground, that is not even convivial for a successful war of independence because there are no command and control structure.
Comrade, if you
There is no
think
entity
that
that
if
every
you think you
independent
will fight a war of independence without any opportunities coming in to seize the opportunity to do things like kidnapping and stuff, then you are not yet a man. You are still wearing wrappers. If you think that is the way a war of
Absolutely.
independence
But
will
if that
wage.
war of independence gets taken
But
over by
hold
the
on, let me get to
opportunists
this
and
caller. Now this is
they
their
become the
time.
majority
Hello.
of the experience on the ground, then it denatures the
Hello.
whole strategy in the first place.
Hello. Hello. I think we missed that caller. Let's see, another caller. Hello. 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 Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Mizam County.
From Mezam County. Okay, your voice is kind of low there. If you can raise it a little bit, that would be better.
All right.
That's better. What is on your mind?
Congratulations to all of you in the studio.
Thank you.
Our brother in the studio with you, I think all what he's saying there, we had gone past that level. And what I noticed from him is that he's not courageous to fight the revolution. I think he still need time before he can be courageous to meet us. I think that's all what I've noticed from all what he's saying there. Nobody in La Republic will even listen to him. He needs just to be courageous. Let's try and give him courage to join us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Let me read these messages. Got another caller here. Hello. 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 Before you call, make sure you turn down the volume of your set, please. Turn down the volume of your set. Dr. Gabila is hitting midnight over there in South Africa. I'm going to let him go very soon. Let's see what this caller is trying to say. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, turn down the volume of your television. Focus on your phone. Turn down the volume of your TV and focus on the phone.
Yes, my volume is turned down, sir.
All right, I can hear you now. Where are you calling from, sir?
Sir, I'm calling somewhere around La Republique.
Okay, what is your contribution?
Sir, I am so disappointed with what that doctor is saying. He's not encouraging things here. He's instead discouraging people. We in La Republique, we are fighting to see that people work harder so that we can come together, so that we can have our own land. But now if this man is talking like this, and I heard you said he was behind the Capo Daniel. You see, these are the kind of distractors that we have in this our revolution. So he should stop talking the way he's talking. Yes, I will not. That's all I have as a contribution. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I love the way you are handling things.
All right, thank you for the call. Dr. Gabila, before I let you go, I know it's late over there. When you hear callers like this one and others who have called previously saying you are on the wrong side, what would you have to say?
No, Secretary Chris, thank you so much for the opportunity for the engagement. I really appreciate the openness and the frankness of our engagement and the realization that we feel very strongly about the views that you hold, and you've afforded me the opportunity to express some of the thinkings that we have about what we think should be the way forward. Now, I think that our people should understand that the responsibility that we have as leadership is to be able to assess the material conditions of our community as it stands at every point in time, assess its predisposition and engagement with respect to the rest of the world and where the world is going and where the international community, and I don't like this term international community, is positioned, and how they are sensitive and respond to our plight. I say that to say that Trump coming to the White House in 2025 is an opportunity for diplomatic engagement. I would like to see the proponents of the position that you hold organize themselves better in a diplomatic offensive to
Doc,
engage
I'm sorry,
the
just if
Trump
you
White
can hold
House.
on for a minute, let me just get this caller and then I'll get back to you. Hold on. Hello. I think I lost that. Hello.
President Chris, Comrade Chris.
Hello, sir. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Minnesota. My name is Ernest.
Yeah, okay, from Minnesota. All right. Please raise your voice a little bit. You can barely hear you.
Yeah, I'm calling from Minnesota. My name is Ernest.
Okay, what is your contribution?
My question.
Your contribution.
Yes, my contribution is that the doctor that is there answering question hasn't answered questions that asked him what has he done to support the effort of the boys in the homeland. He hasn't said anything. That is just to say he do not have the courage, the man courage, to even stand and fight for anything on the behalf of the people. If he can answer that question, then he can go ahead and do any other contribution for us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Comrade, you heard that. You heard that again. That is the way people are thinking about your contribution here. They don't think you are part of it. You just want to cut and run and choose maybe some shorter way which we have tried for all these years hasn't worked. I give you 1 minute or so to make your round up your point. I know it's late over there.
Right. So to answer to the question that came back up again, the responsibility that we have in the rollout of strategies is to see the comprehensive effects of every action and every engagement. It's good and nice to be able to send contributions down to the boys on the ground and to give them the material that they need to do what they need to do. But I think that if we summarize our engagements to what have you given to enable the boys to do what they need to do, I think that we'll be selling ourselves short of seeing through the rollout of a comprehensive strategy right up to the end. And this leads me to my concluding remarks. 2025 with Trump presidency is an opportunity for engagement. Every liberation war is won on a diplomatic offensive, on a resource mobilization offensive, support from the international community, and capable leadership. The people, you gave me 1 minute.
I thought you said the international community is not interested in us.
That is my contention, and the point I'm now making is that there is an opportunity.
Essentially, from both sides
No,
of
no,
the
no,
mouth.
Secretary Chris. I'm not speaking with both sides of my mouth. I'm not speaking with both sides of my mouth. We are going to organize ourselves to engage the Trump administration to support our proposition. I am saying that for those of you who believe in the very strong views that you hold, demonstrate the seriousness of your engagement by organizing yourself to engage the Trump administration to support the views that you hold. Because if you hope to attain the outcomes that you desire, you need to engage diplomatically. It takes leadership, it takes engagement, it takes much more than rhetoric. And that's something that I've noticed about a whole lot of you don't even let me finish.
No, you are speaking.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I'm
confirming what
saying.
you are saying.
Yeah. So, and that's what I've sort of noticed with the whole range of people that come out of some of the comments that I've made, which are very well meaning. So I'm saying that organize, engage, and get and make use of that opportunity to be able to put your issue on the table. I may be wrong. I hope I'm wrong when I say that the international community is not interested. I hope I'm wrong for all of our sakes, because if you can engage the international community to give us independence, I'll be the first person to come and wave my independent passport and salute you for believing to the very end. But I tend to be a little bit of a pragmatist when it comes to assessment of material conditions on the ground. And that's why I am of those who are of the view that says that if we continue to do what we are doing the way we have done for the last 9 years, we can plot that graph and project it for 45, 50 years. The outcome seems pretty clear to me. I do not say that to discourage anybody. I say that to challenge people to say that if you mean what you say, there are a number of things that you need to do differently to get the kinds of outcomes that you desire. So that is a summary of my point as far as
All right.
those issues are concerned.
All right.
And then as far as our own issues are concerned, I believe that there are priorities that we need to highlight for the next couple of days. So the prospection engagement. So that's the point I'm making. Organize yourselves, take advantage of the Trump presidency. The second point I'm making: in all negotiations to end all wars, the protagonists need to engage with each other. Like the Republic of Cameroon prefers direct engagement. The bulk of our people prefers facilitated engagement. I am saying that we need to take this conversation one step further to start preparing for direct engagement with the Republic of Cameroon. And that direct engagement is not supposed to be on the very.
Comrade, I'm not cutting you short. I'm not cutting you short. I mean, listen. I'm not cutting you short. And I am not opposed to you guys talking to La République du Cameroon. Whatever you can get out of them, we will see it as your own effort. So, if you want to go talking, but don't do it as speaking on behalf of independent-minded Ambazonians. You can do it as federalists, whatever you call it. I don't care. Go ahead and do it, but allow those who are fighting for independence and freedom to go ahead and do it without coming across as telling them, oh, you cannot succeed, you cannot make it. I think that's a very wrong approach. But listen, comrade, thank you very much. I still have people sitting on the phone here to contribute.
Secretary,
it was great to have you.
You wanted me to conclude, but you haven't allowed me to conclude.
I have you only more than 1 minute to conclude, comrade.
Okay, every time I try to make a point,
30
you interrupt
more
me.
seconds. 30 more seconds, please.
If you would not interrupt me, there are just a very few set number of
I
points
interrupt
I need
you
to
when
make.
you talk and talk and talk and talk.
No.
I
You can
expect
time
to
me
just
and
make
give
your
me.
point.
Just give me the 30 uninterrupted seconds.
Go ahead for 30 seconds.
For 30 seconds. 4 priorities from where we are sitting. Number 1, reorganize ourselves to engage international community. Number 2, prepare a content-based engagement for direct negotiations with the Republic of Cameroon. Let it not be on a grand scheme of what we desire. Let it be on the factual details of the kind and the nature of self-determination.
I am sorry.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
I am sorry. That is not. Those are not the
Give
things.
me 30 seconds.
No.
And then before I
30
go for 10
seconds
seconds,
is
you
not.
interrupt me.
30 seconds is
cannot
not
be a
for.
monologue.
30 seconds is not for
You have to have the
indoctrination.
patience
We are
to
not
listen to me for
interested.
30 seconds.
We are not
You need
interested
to have the
in
patience to hear me out for 30
indoctrination,
seconds,
comrade.
Chris.
Well, listen,
you
I have to
invited
take
me
the
to your
callers
show.
here. I have to take the
honored your
callers here.
intervention.
It was great having you. It was great having you.
Oh,
Please.
come on, Chris. You cannot invite me to your show.
It was great having you. Maybe next time we'll have you again. So thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me get back to the phone. People have been waiting here for a while. Hello.
Yes, Comrade Chris.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from the United States.
From the United States, okay. And what is your contribution?
I have been following, I came midway, listen to what you guys are saying. My major concern with those who are propagating this federalism and the fact that they can negotiate with the Republic is the fact that I think they are naive. I do not believe in one bit that the Republic of Cameroon, knowing fully well that we have declared independence and we have already put on a fight, is going to accept that there's going to be some kind of a federation, because they know that if we are able to get hold of the Southern Cameroons in a bid, no matter what form, we will be able to have control over the territory and will be able to break away from them. In fact, that was the whole reason why they abolished the federation in the first place.
Right.
Because they did not want the Southern Cameroons to become too powerful and economically viable to compete with them, that they will not be able to challenge the Southern Cameroons. So keeping the Southern Cameroons the way it is right now was what was planned, because by keeping them poor and marginalized, then they'll be able to control the territory. So I do not believe these federalists who are going around saying that the Republic of Cameroon can accept a lesser option. Okay, the question is, if that is the case, why the Republic of Cameroon doesn't just go ahead and then grant the federation? What are they waiting for?
Exactly.
If that is a lesser option or the lesser evil, as some may want to put it, So then why are they not granting it to them? Why is it that they are?
I mean, consider this.
around?
They had their grand national dialogue. They had their grand national dialogue, and those who there mentioned federation were booed
Exactly.
in that
They
hall.
would have just gone ahead and granted it to them. So if they think that federation is a lesser evil, I think they are too naive. Paul Biya knows very well this group. I don't even believe that Paul Biya is still in the rule of Cameroon. Paul Biya is a vegetative state. He has not been ruling Cameroon for a very long time. Anybody who think that Mr. Biya is in control of Cameroon is a fool. So I believe that if there's going to be any negotiation, it's going to be after Mr. Biya. That is what I think.
All right.
As of now, anyone who believes that there's going to be some kind of federation with this current regime is a fool and is naive. It's not going to happen.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the call. All right. Let's see who is calling next. Hello.
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 Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Cameroon, Yaoundé.
Okay. What is on your mind, sir?
I just want to say something that Mr. President have addressed the nation this evening. That the information is too late because Cameroon will not remain through those things. It's everything that happens every year that when the president going to address the nation.
So what did he say in his address?
Pardon, sir?
What did he say in his address?
No, it's just that the information that the president of the republic every day is addressing the same information. We don't like it. It's too late.
So you said all the things you already know, I guess.
He didn't say something that everything that's. Did he say something that he addressed to the nation that he would promise to do this and that? We don't want to understand it again. It's too late for us. When he to discover that it's a term to election, you will become to. Yes.
Okay. Did you say Amba should lay down arms or they should wait for him?
That it's different. It's the very thing that when it's every year, the end of year, you will be dressing to bring down the same information at any time. We don't like it.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the call.
He didn't talk about Amber. He didn't talk about Amber. He talked to you.
All right. Thank you for the call.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a few minutes left before I go. Let me read some of your messages here. This is from Ground Zero. Comrade Chris, I know you should know whom you bring to discuss anything about Ambazonia freedom and independence. That boy you brought, I know him very well. He is one who believes we must be part of La République du Cameroon. Please, we have gone past revisiting what La République du Cameroon refused to revisit. Why is it that only Southern Cameroonians and Ambazonians are irresponsible to the plight of Southern Cameroonians and Ambazonia after 62 years of a failed justice to our freedom and independence? The guest you brought today, Dr. Gabila, I am not sure of the name, but I met him in South Africa and we talked. He is not consistent in his argument. He has a thing in mind a lot of people don't know. Okay. Let me get back to this caller here. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes, this is Dr. Epa.
Oh, okay. Good to hear your voice, sir. What is in your mind?
Okay, I just have a few things. I know others have addressed the issue, but I want to congratulate the guest you have brought in. I think he's not a very serious person. During the course of his statement, he said at the beginning of the revolution, he was one of those who was with us to get independence. Now he has changed. We know that. I don't think that he's even a federalist. Because if he was a federalist, he would not have been an independentist at the beginning. But let's say that he just decided to switch to federalism. He's saying that he does not see anything practical situation on ground zero at this moment, unlike when the revolution started in 2017. Yes, I don't know whether he has read about the American War of Independence against the British, where George Washington, lost nearly every battle.
Yeah.
But endurance.
Right.
Endurance is the most important thing. Persistence. No matter what, we're fighting a guerrilla warfare, but not an open warfare with a republic. That's why you should first of all understand. Secondly, he's talking about leadership. I don't know the type of leadership he means, because that word leadership has different type of leadership theories. I don't know whether he means transformational leadership, transactional leadership, or whatsoever leadership that is there. He talks about I just want to advise our people on ground zero. When elections come, La Republic knows his king or her king. They touch people like this who should come and then manipulate over the minds of our people. Real federalists don't speak anymore because they have been very disappointed. I come from Guti. Dr. Muzu comes from Guti. I've challenged his views of that federalism. You don't hear them say anything again. Agobala federalists, they have shut them up. When you see people like Dr. J.J. Asongu and the rest coming to speak, these are business people, for God's sake. Our people should not buy into that crap. But I'm happy that you brought him, so that when he leaves here, he's going to go with humiliation like any other federalist.
We don't bring him to humiliate him, but we bring him to kind of have a feel from callers like you and others who have called in to let him know his position is wrong and he is on the wrong side.
Because first of all, he refused to answer a simple question with a comrade from Ground Zero asked him. He is talking of practical situation on Ground Zero, and the comrade asked him one simple question: what has he contributed to make sure that Ground Zero is hard? He changed it around, moving around. He did not answer that question. So these are the situations, these are the type of people we have. When some of us are here spending our money, trying to make sure that Ambassador get independent, they are there trying to confuse the vulnerable and to buy into the agenda when the election is coming, thinking that Biya and his regime will just accept federalism, two-state federation, which they have tried since 1992, and it has never happened. I will not even say 1992. Since 1972, that federalism, people have been fighting, they were killed, and up to this time, for any meaningful person who knows that how many of our people have died on Ground Zero, will not even come here and speak about federalism or unionism. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the call. You have a great day out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think at this moment I am going to call it a night, but before I do so, I like to make an appeal to all of you watching and listening out there. We need your support for ABS to continue to bring you this educative programming, especially on Ground Zero. They need to know why we are fighting and the reason why we keep on standing on a free and independent Amazonia. And when we bring guests like this who do not see eye to eye with us or our opinions differ, it is not because we want to shame them. No, never my goal. My goal is so that they can actually hear from you and feel what you feel and feel what you think. That's the only way they can learn. That's the other way they can know they are on the wrong side. That's the other way they can know the majority is not with them. They are in a tiny minority. So I hope that this means something to him and those he works with. But comrade, we have to stay the course. We have to stay the course. Independence is that ultimate goal. But again, I'm appealing to all of you. ABS needs your support to stay on the air. You realize that almost every month now, it is shut down. I'm not ashamed of that to say that here, because it needs finances to survive. And if you are out there, you can support. Send me a text. Send me a text if you want to support ABS. Send a text on the number you find on your screen, and I will direct you how you can do that. We really desperately need it to keep informing, educating our people on the ground. And if you are on ground zero, you can support ABS. We have a means for you to do so. Don't say, I'm on ground zero, I don't know what to do, I cannot do it. You can do it. Just send a text on the number you find there, and we will get back to you. I want to appreciate you, Ground Zero, for keeping the lockdown today and tomorrow. On Wednesday, go out, take care of your business as usual. The war continues. The war continues. That is what it is. I will be out of here, and I'm hoping to see you. I'm hoping to be back. I'm hoping to be back on Wednesday. It's today. When is today? Today is Monday, yes. I'm hoping to be back on the Wednesday. Thank you, and you have a great night.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@